Good morning, Daybreak watchers. We're going to get going in about 45 seconds here.
8. Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Then it's the Stephanie Miller Show from 8 to 11. Middays belong to the Tom Hartman program from 11 to 2. Followed by the Jeff Santos Show from 2 to 5. Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Greg Buck, 5 to 7. Real news and great conversation right here on 92.7 WMDX.
This is Jeff Santos. From corporate greed to government corruption, social justice to economic inequality, we tell it like it is. No fluff, just facts. Join me weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Jeff Santos Show on 92.7 WM.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
6:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope that your day is off to a great start. We made it to Friday Eve, and boy, oh boy, if you were in a good portion of the state, it's a little soggy waking up this morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Hey, good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Yeah, heavy snow forecasted through Madison and north. It is April 2nd. This weather was supposed to come yesterday as an April Fool's joke. Unfortunately, it came today. So if you are in Madison, yeah, there's going to be precipitation all the way, well, let's just say until you go home from work. Then you'll get a break for an hour, and then it's going to start up again. So it is miserable today, and it's miserable throughout the Midwest. Because, well, why not? It's April, and that's the way it goes. So just be careful if you're running around out there this morning. Give yourself a little extra time. All the usual platitudes that come from people who are telling you what to do.
Especially if you have to travel northward at all today into the Abbotsford, Wausau area, even into the Pulaski area. There is an ice storm warning in effect in that area of northern Wisconsin until about 1 o'clock this afternoon. I haven't seen any reports as of this morning, but if you are in the area, and please, if you're safe, make sure let us know how it is up there, please. 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. Here's the thing. I know that we don't really like snow that much, especially certain times of the year. I would much rather deal with snow than ice. Or ice with snow on top of it. I would much, much rather deal with a wet snow this time of year than any sort of ice accumulation. That just makes things difficult and more dangerous, I think. So,
well, it's not going to last. It's supposed to get up to 62 today, even with all the rain. It's going to be 50s, in the 50s the rest of the weekend. Easter is not going to be fun. It's going to be 48, but at least it's going to be sunny. So, this is very temporary inconveniences. Now, we're expecting a lot of tornadic activity. So you may want to send Corey down to my house this afternoon because it's going to get dicey.
We have the new acquisitions in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for the Civic Media. And so he was up there doing a bunch of work. And yesterday afternoon, I get a text and he's like, I'm on my way home. And I said, oh, that's interesting, because I was told to expect him to be gone for, probably through the weekend into maybe early next week as they rebuild these stations.
He missed you so much. He had to come home
that's
early.
not it at all. Nope, not it at all. Just like most things in this life, I am outbid by the weather, because then I thought about it, and I said, there's ice up there. Are you trying to outrun the ice? And he goes, yeah, I don't really want to get stuck in an ice storm. He's like, and my goal was to be home this weekend. And I said, where's the severe weather? I said, is it close to us anywhere? And he didn't say anything, which is always a tell for my husband. And pretty soon I hear, yeah, it's down in Illinois.
Yeah. They were sounding all the alarms yesterday. So that means I have to drug one of the dogs as soon as the show is over so she sleeps through it. Listen, we've got to update something that happened yesterday. Because after we accused Parker of lacking some common sense. He ran home to his daddy, and I don't use that's not slang term. He went to his actual father to try to get a little backup, so that Parker didn't want to come in today feeling as mentally and intellectually diminished as he did when he left the show yesterday. Would I be wrong in that assumption, Parker? You did, in fact, go talk to your dad.
I did go talk to my dad. I would like to say I left the show. I left the show, I think, just confused.
Okay.
All
Fair enough.
right, that's
fair
fair.
enough.
Confused,
That's fair.
but I got it, and I get it now. Dad,
Do you? Because you don't look like you get it.
Now, did your dad sit you down with a
Don't quiz
PowerPoint,
me.
or did he just smack you in the back of the head with a book and go, get your
he just-
stuff together?
He just said, "Yeah, I get." Yeah, he's like, "That's fair. You never had that."
I'll give you.
Sure.
I have
Yeah.
a 22-year-old, so
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It's a foreign concept to that age group of how you AAA, BBB, CC. That I get it. I get how that is a foreign concept.
We acquiesced to that point by the end of the show.
We did.
It just
Yeah.
still seemed funny that you couldn't grasp it. It wasn't that you hadn't. It wasn't that you hadn't experienced it. That's obvious, but that you couldn't seem to grasp it.
okay.
And you're an intelligent young man. It boggled my
Sometimes.
mind that he was. Why is he not getting this?
I don't know why I wasn't getting it. I wish I knew. I wish I could tell you, Brian.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Did somebody pull out a phone and show you, or was it just an explanation?
I did grab, much like after the show, I grabbed out my phone and looked at the keypad with the letters on it, and I went, "Yeah, no, that's okay. This tracks. I understand."
Parker, here's a little tip that's going to make your life a lot easier. There's a lot of stuff from the past. Don't worry yourself about it. Just go as in the past. I don't need to know that. The history of the country, you should know.
Yes.
The Constitution, you should know. Those kind of things. Why an old flip phone had to be dialed a certain way to send a text? Really, you don't have room in your brain for that kind of information. It really short-circuited you yesterday. So it just goes to show some of this old folk stuff that I will reference, or Jamie will reference, or Frank will probably be closer to you in your references. But
Yes.
just let them go and just go, oh, listen to Gramps just babble on again. And move on with worrying about
know.
the future and the present.
I know what I need to know, Brian, and that's all I'm worried about.
This is important.
Well, you obviously thought you needed to know this, and it really bothered you yesterday.
It bothered me that I didn't understand it.
Okay.
I just love that you went home and did the actual homework and pulled it out
Yeah.
after the show.
It was
like,
funny.
That is studious. That is somebody who takes the initiative, and I can appreciate that.
I do anything for the bit.
Yeah, you did
will
commit.
commit.
Even
You
bringing
did
your
commit.
dad into it. That was very good. You sought counsel from your father, which is a good thing. It's
is.
nice that you still have that open that you weren't so embarrassed to tell your dad, I don't understand how any of this works. They told me, but they told me in a mocking tone, and it didn't stick. That was not how I want to be taught.
I just think that the sheer confusion on his face yesterday is what got me through the whole thing. But I understand.
Trust me,
my
I
mi-
see that. Go
My
ahead,
mind
Parker.
was my mind was kind of in a pretzel yesterday. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
Tough. There was some mental gymnastics going on yesterday.
I see that look, the same look I saw on your face yesterday, Parker. I see that look on Molly's face a lot when I tell stories about what happened to me as a child and a young man.
Yeah.
She can't believe, one, that I'm still alive, and two, that these things actually happen, that I'm not just creating them out of whole cloth, that these are real things that really happened.
Okay. My dad has this one story that I refuse to believe is true. I think all of us refuse to believe it's true.
That there were metal ice trays that you put in the freezer? There were.
No.
And then you grabbed
He
with your
says-
bare wet hands.
He says that during high school, in their swimming pool, they swam naked.
Yes.
I don't believe this.
That is I don't know if your dad went to public school or private
He
school.
did. He went to public.
That was a thing. Of course, the classes were not co-ed back then.
Yeah.
But yes,
don't
it was
care.
for I wouldn't have wanted to do it either, but that was especially in the Chicago Catholic League schools that had swimming. Yes, and I don't know why. You can theorize that Chancellor Epstein really wanted everybody to swim. I don't know. But
What a
it
weird
was horrifying.
old-timey thing. I don't understand that.
That's older timey than me. We got to wear suits.
Yeah.
We wore trunks.
When you said suits, the first thing I thought was like three-piece.
Yes,
suit.
we wore three-piece suits.
Yeah.
The dress
Cannonball.
code, the dress
Yes.
code carried over even into the water. Parker, collared shirt, khaki pants, and
Yep.
you had to swim in it too.
I was going to say, and then they hoped that, the weight of it didn't pull you right to the bottom of the pool as it soaked up all the water.
Made you a stronger swimmer, didn't it?
Roger from Stevens Point chiming in this morning, talking about the weather in his area. He says there is a layer of ice on the concrete and making it very slippery. It's also lightly raining, so be careful out there. If you do want to tell us what the weather is like in your area this morning, or you just want to chime into any of the conversations, 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC.
Sometimes it bothers me that we take on that role of mom and dad telling people what to do and how to drive. Listen, if you want to drive it like you stole it, good luck to you.
Go for
I'm
it.
I'm not the boss of you, but
No.
we always do that. It's kind of like the radio playbook. We have to say, now listen, and I'm
Yes.
guilty of it too. This is not directed at,
It's a
at
radio
anybody
thing,
because
right?
I do it too. It's like,
Yeah.
make sure you're careful. I don't care. To be honest, I hope you're smart enough to be careful, but it's not my job to worry about you. I'll be careful. I'm sure Jamie and Parker will be careful when they go out to drive. I'm just going to assume that you are smart. If you're listening to this show, you've got some brains. I'm going to assume that then you're
Hopefully.
smart enough to know if it's icy, I'm going to drive a little slower. I don't know. Brian said he didn't care, so I'm going pedal to the metal, baby. Let's do it. Parker, if you want, we can start a little segment where you ask old-timey things that confuse you, and we try to explain it. And it'll be like you're sitting
you
on the
have a
porch
list?
with us.
There's not a list for that.
Oh,
But if it comes,
Start one.
if it does happen, feel free. Now, remember, I'm probably, and Jamie, probably not as old as you think we are. So if you ask me about the invention of the motor car, that's way before my time.
Really?
This isn't like one of those moments where when we talk, you're like, oh my God, for 72, they sure look good, right? Like, this isn't one of those moments. You do have an idea of how, like, kind of where we're at in age, right? Okay, all right.
Speaking of 72, it is a very special day. I'm going to look right in the camera and say, today is Jamie's mom's birthday.
It is.
And I don't know, the rest of the show all said, we don't have time for this, Brian. We don't have time to wish somebody a happy birthday. But I know that Jamie's mom is, we have a little thing going.
Yes.
So happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day. Listen, I'll tell you, stay off the ice. I don't care about anybody else. I don't want you falling. I don't want you getting hurt.
No,
I want
she
you to enjoy
can't.
some
No, we
cake.
don't want her falling. No.
Because nothing brings me more joy than you complimenting me while deriding Jamie at the same time. It fills my decrepit heart with joy. So happy birthday. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully your daughter will bring you some cake or something.
Oh, hopefully we'll get to see her this weekend. I don't know what the day brings. It's a Thursday, and we've got the holiday weekend. And when weather gets kind of yucky because of her health, she doesn't leave the house very much.
I don't blame her.
So no, I don't either.
Even
but
when the
happy
weather's
birthday,
nice,
Mama.
I don't want to leave the house.
Yeah, no. Happy birthday, Mama. I'll call you later. I'll do my daughterly duty and call her. And at this point, she's always like, I don't want to talk about my birthday. Why do you talk about my birthday? So I won't.
You and me both. All right. Well, hey, listen, you could also win some John Mulaney tickets. I have to find. Do you have the talking points in front of you?
I do.
Good.
Right here. Let me find the right tab. Here we go. So John Mulaney, of course, if you don't know, he is an SNL vet. He is an award-winning comedian, and he is going to be at the Wisconsin State Fair. Those tickets are on sale now. He will be on the Bank 5-9 main stage as a headliner, wistatefair.com if you want to buy yourself a pair, or you could, roll with your chance to win. Go to WRJN.com, sign up for tickets. You have until Sunday to get your name into the drawing to win a pair of tickets to see John Mulaney at the Wisconsin State Fair when hopefully the weather is nicer and we're not talking about ice, snow, and rain. It is 6:19 right now. This is Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Houston, we have no problem. We'll talk about that after this on the Civic Media Network.
Now I'm trying to think of old-timey things I don't understand.
That's good. That's where your mind will be all day.
Yeah.
Old-timey
Just,
things
if you
I
guys
don't
want any
understand.
notes on the show today from me, good luck.
Clocks that you have to wind. And
Oh, winding your watch. I don't get that.
What don't you get about winding your watch?
I just never did. I never have.
No,
Because you have that's because you have the newer technology that every time you move
Yes.
your arm, or you have an Apple Watch where you don't have to do anything. But
No, I have an actual watch. I
Old-
rarely wear it anymore because it doesn't fit my wrist anymore. I got to put another link in it.
the technology at first you had to, just like an old clock, you had to wind it to keep the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
Do you know how many clocks are in my house, Brian?
Well, Parker, I don't know.
About 25.
Okay.
What?
does your mom collect?
My mom loves clocks.
Oh, I was going to
Okay.
say.
So
Do they
many
all
clocks.
go off at the same time? Like, are they the old,
they
like,
grandfather,
wooden
or
they just-
grandfather
No, they
clocks?
don't. No, they're
Oh,
just-
okay.
Okay.
Cuckoo
no,
clocks?
these are
Do you have
all-
any
they're all-
cuckoo clocks up
Oh,
in
I
there?
love cuckoo
No,
clocks.
not cuckoo clocks. My sister-in-law texts my dad every daylight savings and says, "Have a fun day," because he has to change all
Those
the
Change
clocks.
all the
Yeah.
clocks.
That's awesome. When I was in high school, my boyfriend one day looked around the house and he goes, "Does your mom collect lamps?" And I said, it was one of those things I hadn't even ever thought of. And I said, "No, why?" And he goes, "You guys have a lot of lamps." And I said, and then I looked around the house and I was like, I don't think I ever realized how many lamps we actually have in this house. But my mom didn't like dark. She just didn't like to be in the dark. And so we had little tiny
Scary.
lamps everywhere so she could just flip them on, plus then the big ones in the living room. So we had an exorbitant amount of lamps in our house.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot
Every
going
house,
on.
I think, has those quirks, though.
Probably.
We got 15 seconds here.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
6:22 right now. We hope that your morning is off to a great start. Hopefully you're staying dry. Take an umbrella with you if you're in parts of the state today, because you're going to need it. Chance it. You're going to be super wet.
up. Do what you need to do.
Just want to make sure if you haven't, because I hadn't looked outside when I left the house today. I had no idea how hard it was raining until my garage door went up. So, don't be like me, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you this morning. Be more aware of your surroundings before you walk outside.
I always leave an umbrella in the car. There's an umbrella in my car all the time, just in case.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
that's me. I'm an old Boy Scout. Hey, did you watch the Artemis 2 launch yesterday? How did it make you feel? We want to share your experiences. 855-75-CIVIC. Parker, I'm going to give you all the numbers. 855-752-4842. That's how you get a hold of us. The launch went off without a hitch. It sounded like this. Cut one, Parker.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
It was. Did you? I watched.
I
was.
did, I did.
Here's. Can I air a grievance?
Sure.
I had been watching for about 40 minutes prior to the T-minus 10-minute countdown. So I was almost an hour invested as we got to 32 seconds and CNN's feed went dead.
Oh, no.
Yes. So by the time
Why?
I got back, I don't know. By the time I got back, it came back, it was, and they had to run their 2 minutes of commercials before the feed would start again. I was a minute and a half or 2 minutes into the flight. So I missed the actual takeoff. I'd been watching this whole time. I saw them pull back the walkway.
No.
I saw the engines fire up. I was like, here we go. This is so. I watched the woman in command say, Godspeed,
Yes.
Artemis 2, let's go. I saw that they were going to travel 10,000 miles an hour. I was ready.
Oh.
It's still,
That's-
they weren't that far away when it came back, but I was like,
But still.
oh, yeah.
That's a huge miss on the
I
CNN's
was
part.
furious. furious.
That feels like somebody didn't do their due diligence through the entire event. And that's very disappointing, because one of the things I was going to actually say is that for me yesterday watching it, right, I had instant chills. I mean, from the countdown until I watched them lift off, there was instant chills, because there was this feeling of nostalgia. There's this feeling of pride. And one of the things that I think is most fascinating about the time frame that we live in is our capability of cameras and streaming. Because then I started thinking, this is where my mind goes. Perhaps if we would have had this sort of technology 50 years ago, people wouldn't say, oh, that moonwalk was fake. Nobody ever did that. Because you get, I mean, right now you get to be right there. You get to see the entire process. It's so cool.
I love being able to see it, but did anybody else panic when there was the shot from inside or outside the rocket and it showed panels like flying away, which they're supposed to do, but I see something fly off and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, oh, that's just, okay, that's the stage of the rocket leaving. Let's calm down. Because I said yesterday, I remember watching the Challenger thing. I was in court and sitting outside and it was on the TV. It was horrible. So I didn't want to see that, but man, it couldn't have been a more glorious day.
Yeah, it was
and
gorgeous.
So many people in Florida watching this. And your point about nostalgia, Jamie, and pride is apt, because I'll be honest, for me only, I only speak for me. There's not a lot to be proud of in this country right now. I was proud to see all the people turn out for the protests the other day. That made me proud to be an American. This made me proud because it brought me back to the nostalgia part of it, being a kid and being in grade school, drawing pictures of the rockets and drawing pictures of the Apollo missions, and just watching this and remembering, when Neil Armstrong did walk on the moon. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but just the whole thing was great. 32-story rocket that blasted out. It was so cool to watch. And thankfully everything went well. So now they're out, they're going to orbit the Earth. And then they're going to head out to the moon. They said they could. Just imagine, like, hearing the astronauts say, oh, we have a beautiful moon rising. We're heading right toward it. I'm like,
it's incredible.
Dude, that is so cool.
It is so cool. And what I love about all of this is, if you are one of those people who wants to follow this journey, there's going to be, NASA's going to be streaming so much of this from inside the actual rocket. The Kennedy Space Center is going to be streaming so much of this. So you're going to be able to listen to the astronauts, see how they're living until obviously they lose contact, because they have to make that loop back around. But it is. I just think it's awesome what technology scares me in certain ways, but when it's used for the right purposes, it is so cool, because like you, I remember the Challenger. I was in 4th grade, right? So I remember watching that live on the TVs, and our teachers just being like, and having to answer all these questions from all these kids, and they didn't understand what was happening. But I love that we get to experience that. And there's even some Wisconsin ties. I was reading this morning that one of the women who works in the command center is actually from the great state of Wisconsin.
That's
so she's going to be a major part of this. So, I mean, there is this feeling of, when we live in this time that we live in, there is this feeling of, hey, you know what? We can actually do some really cool stuff yet. And science is awesome.
It was a moment where everybody, not only in America, but I'm sure other places around the world, was cheering for the same thing. Like, everybody was on the same page. And it also humbles me, because I realize how many really, really smart people there are who can, again, going back to the first time, looking up at space and going, yeah, we're going to go there. Oh, are you? And they do.
Yeah.
They figure it out and they go. Did you feel smarter because we had gone through the terminology? I did. I was like, oh, now I know what that term means. I know what that term means.
Yes.
I'm Mr. Astronaut. I'm Johnny Space. That'll be fun. Did you watch the president's address last night? I would love to hear your thoughts, because I know Jamie has thoughts. I know I have thoughts. So what are your thoughts? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We will talk about that next. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak.
I'm Jamie Martinson. Turns out the president doesn't have many thoughts. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. Good morning, streamers. We've got Daniel saying happy Thursday. Hello, peoples.
Hello,
And
Daniel.
Roger commenting from our previous conversation in the last break. I haven't worn a watch in over 15 years, he says.
Wow. I wear one every day.
I wear, my grandpa and I were very, very close, and he passed away about 5 years ago, and I actually have his watch that I wear. I don't wear it every day, but it's his watch that he had. My family owned a jewelry store growing up, so my grandpa always got all of his jewelry, obviously there, including his watches, any of his rings. So I have a bunch of like his gold bracelets, and then his Seiko watch that he wore daily is the watch that I wear. So it's the one thing that I have of my grandpa.
The one thing I wanted when my mom was moving out, when I was a baby for Christmas, she gave my dad a Movado watch with our names engraved on it, from
awesome.
Patsy and Brian. Yeah, she didn't know where it was. She thinks she may have sent it somewhere to get it fixed and never gotten it back. So it was gone. So
that's a bummer.
no good for me.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, well.
Those are always
I put it on the list
things.
of disappointments that has gone from list to encyclopedic volumes, and just live with it. That's the way it goes. That's life in the fast lane.
My step grandma wasn't always the most congenial person to be around, and my grandpa lived with us when I was really little for a while. And so he and I got really, really close, and over the years, because of my step grandma, we were not as close. But it was always one of those things that I regretted, is not staying as close to him as I had been when I was young. So I was very. It made me feel better when he passed away that she sent me basically like a little box of some of his stuff, and
nice.
My mom and myself, so we could go through some of the things that have been most important to him. And what's really cool is he has those really those men's chain solid gold bracelets. That's what he wore. He had several of those, and again, family owned a jewelry store, and so. I have one of them that I want to get links taken out of and cleaned up and the latch and things fixed. And then Dexter and he liked turquoise jewelry as well. And so Dexter, we have to get it fixed and cleaned and things. But Dexter wants a couple of the pieces too. So that's cool. So it kind of lives in infamy.
Yeah, we've never been a jewelry kind of family. I know other people do. And I'm like, oh, and a nice watch I think would be great.
Sure.
Debbie's given me a couple nice watches over the life, and so watches I wear, but I just wear an old G-Shock.
I'll be honest with the fact that my family owned a jewelry store. When I was born, my great uncle went down to the jewelry store, and he took 2 wedding bands and he soldered and made my initials inside one wedding band. So I had a baby bracelet. So I had all of it by the time I was, and so. But over the years, I just don't wear that much. I wear my wedding ring, and I wear very simple earrings, and then a watch when I go out. Maybe a bracelet or two, and that's essentially it. That's all I ever want, because I think I got jewelried out. I had a tennis bracelet by the time I was 15.
Oh.
So, well, because of the family, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I never wore it.
It's
It stayed in a box. I don't think I've taken it out, I think, one time for a wedding I was in. That was it. That's all I've ever worn.
I give jewelry. Debbie's got beautiful stuff. My mom had really, really beautiful stuff that my dad would give her, but he didn't wear rings or chains or anything, and so my brothers and I don't. But we give good jewelry. We just don't wear jewelry.
Yeah.
Except for when I had there was a short time, Parker, where I wore, not even a short time, a number of years I wore an earring. That might surprise you.
Huh?
Yeah.
The
biggest surprise was when
or a big.
Of course, I was a stud. That's why I wore an earring. Duh.
Okay. All right.
That's right, dummy. To bring back Frank's terminology.
I always think it's hilarious because I don't like diamonds either, just because we were always at the jewelry store. And so when Corey was trying to pick out a ring for me, he's like, "What do you want? You don't like any of the stuff normal girls like."
All right, we got 10 seconds here.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:35 right now. We hope that your morning is going well so far. Thank you so much for having us on today. If you're listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, or in La Crosse on WLCX, or up in Hayward, the Northwoods, on WBZH, we are so glad that you decided to join us this morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Did you watch the president's address last night, or did you opt out hoping that we would watch it for you and then you could just pick everything up? I wish I had that luxury, but we want to hear your thoughts on it. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Jamie, I will just say I'm going to guess you can already predict my response to this. A lot of bluster about nothing. Yeah. There was nothing solid about it. There was the usual boasts. His voice aggravates me, and it's exactly what I would have expected. What about you?
Well, I didn't get anything new, right? If you tuned
there's
into this
nothing
thinking,
new.
if you tuned in last night thinking, ooh, we might actually get something about this war, I'm sorry, you're going to be very disappointed. In fact, Roger over on our Facebook chat this morning saying it's getting to the point where every time Trump makes a speech, it's a repeat. Just put a record turntable on the podium and let it run. Yeah, I can't disagree because it was the exact same points.
The good news was, at least in this one, we didn't have to hear rehashes of the 2020 election. We just had to hear more recent hits.
Yes.
We had to hear about he didn't, though. I was surprised he didn't go after NATO harder, but he did have a message for Europe. Parker, cut 2.
To those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. Question, point of order. If we have so much oil, just come to us, buy oil from us. Then why are we paying over $4 a gallon for gasoline? Why some places it's over $5 a gallon in gasoline? Why is everything going up? Because our trucking industry is paying more, which we'll talk about later. Why? Yeah. Why, Donnie T?
I mean, he says the things. And then we talked about this before. He says the things and he acts like just because he says them, it makes them true. That's not how this works. Or he thinks that just because he says it, they're going to snap into fruition and things just happen. That's not exactly how this works. And my credit card would tell you that we don't have enough gas because I paid a lot yesterday.
Paid a lot for gas.
A good chunk yesterday.
Well, we have oil. We have oil, Jamie. Oil and gas are different things. It's called the refinery. Look it up. I know you're a lady. Maybe you don't understand industry. Maybe you don't understand how things work. You start with oil. It's crude, just like me. Very crude. A lot of crude. The crudest. I've always been the crudest. People say to me, "Sir, you're so crude," and I say, "Yes, I'm oily too." And they say, "Yes, that was the analogy we were trying to make." And I say, "I know that. I'm smart. I'm the smartest." But I forget where I was going. Sorry.
Well, so does he. So it works out perfectly.
I'm rambling just like the president. Maybe I should run. That's not going to happen. John and Oshkosh, thanks for taking one for the team. No way I was ending my day watching that buffoon line rant. John, that's why we're here.
You're welcome.
We're here for you. You are welcome, my friend.
That's right. We'll tell you to drive safely on the ice, and we'll take one for the team and watch the president. That's what we do here.
That's exactly what we do. But just telling Europe, hey, basically, don't be such a sissy. Go over and just take it. Just take it. You want it, take it. That's his mentality. You just take what you want, whether it's oil, whether it's a woman, whether it's a child, allegedly, whatever it is, you just take it.
What I love about this is the reason that nobody's done that up until this point is because they all knew it was going to end in some sort of major conflict / war, whatever we're calling it at this point. So these things are usually done with some sort of strategy, unless you're this administration where you just act and then say, well, we have this plan, but we might go this way, but it might work out this way. It could be 2 weeks, maybe 1 month. We might be out of there tomorrow. Like, no, there has to be strategy, and that's why the other countries haven't done what you proclaimed that you were able to do.
Well, listen, I don't think you understand what's happening. Everything is fine. You complaining about your gas, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, we don't need their gas. Kid, cut 3.
Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it.
Obviously,
Well,
we do,
where
you
we start?
bumbling buffoon. Yes,
Frank, why is there no fact or fiction on this today? Because I don't even know where to start with that entire
Parker, we need the
35
buzzer.
seconds.
We need the buzzer all the time because these could not be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just play it continuously for this whole segment. Just do it. The whole thing should be beeped out.
There were so many falsehoods. We do not produce the world's largest
The most oil in the world?
We do not. That is not true. Now, we do produce a lot here in the United States, but not the world's largest supply.
Saudi
In
Arabia
fact,
and Russia combined, Jamie, he said it must be true.
it turns out that the world supply actually comes from the place that you're currently destroying and say we're going to be out of in just 2 weeks.
Well, why would we believe what we see and what the markets are saying? And that's the problem. You know, the markets go up and down because he says these stupid things.
Yes.
And then people think, oh, well, he must be right. Look at the markets. How many of you are actually in the markets? How many of you are following them that closely to say, oh, yeah, no, it's...
No.
Look in your wallet, as Jamie said. Look at your credit card receipts. Do any sort of reading.
Yeah.
And you'll realize that he's just full of baloney.
We have a lot of comments coming in on social media this morning. Pam saying he has no regard for all of the people he's killing. That's been pretty obvious from the beginning based on the cavalier attitude this administration has had. And Pete Hegseth at a podium talking about giving facts and figures and telling us not to worry about those, right? We've got Roger chiming in as well. When did the drill baby drill begin? That was during his campaign.
The first administration.
It also continued through 2024. And then Alicia chiming in saying, man, well, then gas should be less expensive, right? That she is correct. We've also got Frank. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I explain to Alicia a little something?
Okay,
Alicia,
please do.
you and all the other ladies, I know you got lady brains. There's a lot of guys who think with lady brains too. You don't understand it. You don't know that we now have the strongest economy in the world. I wouldn't say it if I didn't think it, so now I said it. Cut 4, kid.
We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far with no inflation.
So hot I would sleep with it if it was my daughter.
Investments coming into the United States over $18 trillion and the highest stock market ever with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year.
Okay. So here's the first thing I'm going to say. And I'm going to say this as somebody who supported Joe Biden. His economy was fragile because it was still rebuilding. However, what I will say is that if you think financially, you are better off right this very minute because the policies of this president, I don't know what money tree you have found because I know how much tighter our budget is. I know how much tighter the budget of friends and family are. I know how much tighter the budget of my mom living on a fixed income is, how we're trying to figure out how to get her better food sources because of her health, because she doesn't have the money to pay for that, all because of the policies of this administration. So no, we are not actually financially better off. Poll after poll after poll. Even if you don't take stock in them, take stock in the lump sum of them all together. They will tell you that even Republicans who support this president are fearful of the economy. We are not better off than we were under Joe Biden.
Economists in this country, economists across the world, this war is really about to throw everybody into a global either recession, inflation, whatever. I'm not an economist. I know it's not good. I think like most of you do, I look at what's happening in my home. I look at what's happening around my community. People are struggling, and that's it. Frank in Poynette says, I totally agree with everything you just said. This guy Trump has no clue but to grift. He does, but Frank and everybody else who's complaining, let me tell you a little something, friends. We are winning. Amish man, cut 5.
Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before.
See,
what
and
does
it's
that even mean? What does
I don't
that
know.
even mean?
He's got tiger blood. Oh, wait, that's the wrong guy who's winning. I'd mix him and Charlie Sheen up with their delusional comments.
We're winning bigger than ever before. This is a
before.
war, and in war, nobody wins. Nobody actually wins in war. Not when you're looking at the amount of civilians that are being killed. I get. I'll go back and I'll say it again. Iran has always been a problem. There was no imminent threat. There was no imminent threat to this country. There have been whistleblowers now. There have been U.S. intelligence reports. There was no imminent threat to this country. And when you look at the devastation that's happening across the Middle East, and because of that devastation, what's happening right here at home, going back to the economy, going back to the fact that we are now sending troops over to a war that we have no idea when it's going to end, what are we winning?
I don't know. He gave no timeline for ending it. It's all propaganda to create an illusion of strength and power. That is his bread and butter. He idolizes dictators and authoritarian leaders. He wants to project that kind of strength. If you listen to his voice, he is not well. And now even crackpots, and I hate to even mention Alex Jones's name.
Yep.
But a lot of these guys, Alex Jones actually said, we need to cut bait on Trump and move on.
Yeah. I mean, these are fervent supporters. These are people who have stuck with him through thick and thin, no matter what, no matter how things have looked, no matter how many lawsuits have been against this man, no matter what he's done to the economy. And now they're looking at, was a war the step that took them to that in that
when
direction?
you campaign that you are not going to get into any more forever wars, and you start a war for your own manufactured reasons, just like all his decisions are manufactured based on his own, and he said this, he feels it in his bones. He has a gut feeling. He knew that Iran was going to attack us, that even though he had just months before obliterated their nuclear stockpile, he knew they were going to attack, despite every professional intelligence officer in the country telling him that was not true. He did it. All right, well, listen, he sat in on the Supreme Court yesterday, too. Unprecedented. We'll talk about that and more, and try not to blow a gasket before 7 o'clock. Good luck.
It's 6:48 right now. This is the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Parker, were you able to pull any of those Supreme Court things?
Oh, no, I didn't.
What you may, if you go to that, if you just hit that where it's the audio clips thing, if you just hit that, the audio's right there. Can you run the audio from the computer, or do you have to cut it and put it in the vault yourself?
Probably.
Jurisdiction thereof.
Yeah, I got them. I don't know if I'll be able to have them on command. I don't know if I'll be able to do it smoothly, but I can play them.
All right. Well, we won't call for too many. Well, let's just do the first one with John Roberts.
Roberts.
Yeah. It was a big day for Trump. I was surprised he even had as much energy as he did going into that speech. And there wasn't much, but after he sat in the Supreme Court for 75 hours or 75 minutes.
75 hours. I wish he'd sit somewhere and shut up for 75 hours.
Trying to intimidate the judges for the morning.
Doesn't seem like it worked.
No.
Once again, the law seems to triumph.
Yeah.
Perhaps. We'll see.
I thought the judges were, we'll talk about it, but I thought they were fair and balanced in their questioning for both counsels.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were doing
like a judge.
crazy. Trying to do law stuff.
It's weird. Just never quite know what to expect from the Supreme Court. Oh, that's really cool. I'm watching this piece on Scripps right now where
do we have do we have a subscription for that? Because you say Scripps all the time. I try to watch it.
It's the one we have to pull up here because we don't have cable.
All right.
They live stream on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Thanks,
I thought
Parker.
it was really interesting because they're doing a story right now only because there was a museum, a science museum in Maryland yesterday that sold out their theater that they do, events in and things for people to sit together and watch the space launch. It was packed.
Wow, nice.
And then they had all sorts of things obviously set up to teach the families and kiddos coming in about space but yeah, they sold out their entire theater and it's packed and they got to watch it on this huge screen together. That's really cool.
Yeah. Where did you say that was from?
Greenbelt, Maryland is what I'm seeing on the screen.
They did it here at the Adler, at the
that's
planetarium.
cool.
It was packed there too.
Oh, awesome. I think things like that are awesome.
This is, I look at how we remembered the different things.
Yeah.
These kids today are going to be, they're going to remember what they saw yesterday. And I hope more people watched it. And
oh, look at the people taking their phones out to take images off of screen on their screen.
15 seconds.
Well, it's as high def as being there, really. And you probably get a better view.
Yeah.
I've done that at concerts.
Of course.
Taking a picture of the big screen because it's right there. And I can't see, can't really see the performer.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. We hope that your day is going well so far. I know it's probably just starting, but I'd rather go out on a high note than a low note, or at least start on a high note. It is 6:52 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. If you were following the Supreme Court yesterday and you have any thoughts on this birthright citizenship thing that the president is trying to take away, we'd love to hear your thoughts and your musings. 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. Well, you know that the president has been pushing to end automatic birthright citizenship, and he was met by a suspicious Supreme Court yesterday, which buoyed my spirits for a moment. Liberal and conservative justices both raised tough questions about reimagining the way citizenship has been understood in the U.S. for more than 100 years. Over the course of more than 2 hours, the justices picked away at the arguments raised by the administration's Attorney Solicitor General John Sauer about whether the framers of the 14th Amendment intended to exclude children born to a wide swath of illegal and legal immigrants from the promise of citizenship by virtue of being born here in America. So, if their decision reflects what we saw yesterday and the questions and the arguments, there's a good chance that Donald Trump will be defeated once again by the Supreme Court, which he sat there for an hour and 15 minutes, Jamie, just glaring, trying to remind Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett and all the other appointees that he has put on the court that he's their court daddy and they better do what he says. But it didn't really look that way.
No, it wasn't really going his way. And what I will say is I didn't watch the entire 2 hours, but I did listen to a good portion of it yesterday. And I thought the judges were asking the right questions. And the skepticism that they were showing towards Sauer was obviously warranted. But what I will say is they were not easy on the opposing counsel either. They were a little skeptical of a couple of her arguments, because it's almost like, even though these judges were appointed by Donald Trump, they're actually trying to follow the law. And that's essentially what you saw them doing yesterday. So I am, after listening to the things that they had to say and the line of questioning that they had, I'm never optimistic about this Supreme Court. However, I felt a little bit better just based on hearing their line of questioning. And here's the other thing I'll say is that Donald Trump may have miscalculated just a little bit, because the judges that he has actually appointed are very much constitutionalists.
Yeah.
They don't interpret the Constitution. They take it literally.
I don't think he knew what that meant. He saw it on there. He saw it on the one sheet that he was given, but he didn't know what that meant. They're constipated. Well, maybe they can wear a diaper under the robe. It's not as bulky. I wear it under my tennis whites and my golf whites, and it's very flattering. John Roberts, who you know is the Chief Justice, used the word quirky yesterday, which I had not heard in a long time, when he kind of set the tone for the questioning, Parker.
On subject to the jurisdiction thereof. But the examples you give to support that strike me as very quirky. You know, children of ambassadors, children of enemies during a hostile invasion, children on warships. And then you expand it to the whole class of illegal aliens are here in the country. I'm not quite sure how you can get to that big group from such tiny and sort of idiosyncratic examples. You obviously put a lot of weight on subject to the jurisdiction thereof. But the examples you give to support that strike me.
Yeah, that's on a loop. We'll just thank you, Parker. Parker, we threw him a curveball.
Curveball this morning.
Yeah, that's all right. Huh?
A quirky one.
I
Very
guess
good,
it was
Parker.
put it in the wrong color. But yeah, it was not easy questioning for anybody, and it shouldn't be. And they didn't. The Sauer did not get to talking about illegals for a long time. They were using all kinds of, as Chief Justice Roberts said, very tiny little examples, and the court wants you to come out banging right away. And he did not, because they don't really have, as evidenced before with the tariffs, they come in with these really obscure, very narrow examples, and they pick really the wrong things to base their cases on.
Well, it's weird interpretations of the Constitution that they continually bring into court, which at some point, I mean, when do we quit taking it seriously? Because the things that they're trying to overturn are very
about 10 years ago, I stopped taking it seriously.
But it's very serious that they keep trying to overturn some of these laws. But at the same time, the law that they're actually turning to is so obscure, and it has to be interpreted in such a precise way that maybe focus on something bigger. I don't understand what
they
the administration is thinking.
They don't have anything to hang it on. He wants something done, so they try to find anything that can even remotely back it up. He signs these executive orders, he makes these pronouncements, and then when they're challenged, well, he's not the one who has to go to court and try to defend it. Somebody else does, and it's like, well, all right, this is illegal, but we have to try to defend it, or he throws ketchup bottles at everything.
What I thought was interesting is they allowed Sauer to go back into the Supreme Court, because he was actually the one who argued the tariffs case that they lost. So I was actually surprised to see him be the one to represent the administration in court, based on the fact that he just lost the tariffs case just within the last couple of weeks. Obviously, he's probably the one who's been working on this, so he's probably best suited to go in. But at the same time, this is an administration who makes moves pretty quickly if they win or they lose. And so I was personally surprised that he was the one to make the arguments yesterday.
Well, and Amy, just really quick, Amy Coney Barrett brought up the administration's embrace of a theory of a parent's allegiance would have applied to newly freed slaves. The administration actually brought up slavery as a defense. Some of those children would have had slave parents who were only recently brought from Africa, and thus might still have felt allegiance to the land from which they were trafficked. And she's like, you're really equating that to this?
She has adopted children from Haiti, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering.
That's true.
I mean,
All right, listen, we got stuff you need to know, and we'll talk about student loans at
50.
59.50. I know.
You're good.
No, I screwed up. I'm going to go feed the dog. I'll be right back.
okay.
And that's not a euphemism.
That would be a weird one.
Yeah, it would.
Weather woes and presidential bluster is one of the names of our.
Oh. Snow Space Supreme Court showdowns.
Ooh.
Love a good
Getting
showdown.
fancy.
Oh, yeah.
What a gross day.
Isn't it? Look at this live stream.
It's so gross.
Isn't that awful?
Unless you're dealing with ice, then this is nothing, and
Wow.
we'll quit whining.
Yeah.
But it is gross out. No matter,
Just
basically, no
crummy.
matter where you're at today in the state, it's going to be gross.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
Mm.
As much as
April
as much-
showers, May flowers, all
as much
that.
promises comes with the warmer temperatures.
It's the pain of getting there.
Yeah.
Pam on Facebook saying this administration keeps trying to deport indigenous people. Where would they send them to? Well, they've got a plan to send them to several different countries. They've made plans with African countries. They've made plans with countries in South America. I don't know. That's a good question. But again, what is their actual plan? They actually have made contracts with some of those countries.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let's go back to the space, the moon.
Yeah.
That was happy.
It's a
That
fun
was
time.
good.
I liked that.
That was a good conversation. Brewers won yesterday.
They did.
I mean,
yes.
there's lots of things we could talk about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you see the foul tip that C.B. Buckner got hit by?
No.
Oh, it was bad. He got like right in the chin. They took him out of the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So, yeah.
No, I didn't get to watch the game, but I was following just updates on my phone as it went across.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, look at all the texts coming all of a sudden.
Whoa.
We've got some stuff to start with here when we come back.
Yeah.
Thank you for the text this morning. No, I did not get to watch it, but I was, because I always get those updates that come across, and I was like,
yeah.
Ooh. It stayed 2-2 for a really long time.
The Brewers apparently like to kind of wait a little while. It's kind of what it seems like.
Do they practice?
This year.
Do they get warmed up, or?
I don't know. It's funny because if they score just a run or two in an inning, it's a home run. If they put up a crooked number in an inning, it's like they manufactured runs, and they're not just off homers so much.
But again, should fans be fearful? Because that was how they operated last year, and then when the bats went quiet, the bats were like dead quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see because
it's early.
It's very early, but they do have that power.
Yes.
Like there's
they just don't string it together well.
Yeah, I think there's 6 or 7 guys that have a home run right now. And I mean, that's almost a full batting lineup. Yeah. So
when you left, we got 3 texts right in a row that we can start with if you'd like when we come back. We were sitting here chatting, and all of a sudden they were like, boop, 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 boop.
I didn't realize that many came in because they all came in
right
at the
away,
same time. Yeah.
2 browns and an orange.
You guys all had the same thoughts at the same time. Thank you for that. I gotta mute some things. I haven't muted anything yet this morning on my laptop. I should do that. Oh, I decided to do not disturb too.
Sir?
Oh, what's happening down there?
I don't know, but it's 7:05 and I can hear a man yelling. Seems early for that.
I brought the gentleman who's been staying on our step some food the other day.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Mm-hmm. And we think I'm going to get some stuff and throw in the knock.
Okay.
So if he is out here, we can at
Yeah.
least give him something to drink and some food.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I only saw him on those couple of really cold days.
And Casper's run into him a few times when he's been here late at night and asked him if he could just please be gone by 5 a.m. But I think we'll still keep something just in case.
No, I always tell him it's all right.
I do too.
Yeah. We got 10 seconds.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:06 right now. We hope that your morning is going well so far. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. A lot of texts coming in right when we went to the news. So we're glad. We're going to check those out.
Yes.
If you want to text, if you want to call, we'd love to hear your voice. We read your words, but we never hear you. 855-752-4842. That, of course, is 855-75-CIVIC. Where should we start, Jamie? We've got Lynn from Golden Valley. We've got Todd or Billy. Either one, both of them are welcome. He's listening in Madison, or they're listening in Madison. There's a couple of them. And then Jim is in Campbellsport.
Yeah, let's start. We'll just start right here at the top with Lynn.
Perfect.
We were talking about John Sauer representing this administration in court, which I was a little surprised about just because he lost the tariffs case. Lynn chimes in and says, for lawyers, beggars can't be choosers. I don't think many competent lawyers want to risk even hearing the term DOJ, knock on wood, and go the opposite way. And maybe that's true. Maybe the pool's getting small.
Well, and if and I don't know the Solicitor General, Mr. Sauer. I don't know his qualifications. But, if he's part of the Trump administration, unfortunately, you get painted with the same brush of every other appointee. So maybe he's not the greatest. Todd or Billy, I'm going to go with Billy.
Yeah,
It sounds fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, I appreciate justice. Oh, I'm sorry. I appreciate Justice Roberts pushing back on the Trump administration for trying to take a very small example in terms of birthright citizenship and expand it to cover a much broader category. Isn't that the exact same thing that conservatives always do as it relates to the Second Amendment, as it relates to reproductive freedom, etc.? That's always what they do. Just because it didn't work or isn't going to work in this case doesn't reassure me a whole lot.
And I think that's going to be the problem with this case. There is so much skepticism around this court doing the right thing. We shouldn't be shocked when a Supreme Court does the right thing. But yet here we are in 2026. And when they do the right thing or they ask the right questions, we're like, can we trust them? That's not how the courts are supposed to work, but that's the sort of politicization that's happened around this Supreme Court. We've also have Jim from Campbellsport chiming in this morning. He says, I know this can never happen, but we sued Trump for financial negligence. There is cause and effect here. We will have to pay for the reparations. Thank you. After my tongue and brain were not working in conjunction this morning. After this is completed, it will come out of our pockets. I do suggest that we have a chance freeze all Trump assets to pay things off. I'm going to assume that there are probably some legal minds out there that have probably.
Oh, listen.
You never know.
J.B. Pritzker is already working on Project 2028. Yes. So there's going to be there will be hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be consequences for all of this. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. All right, let's turn our attention to the Middle East. We are in month 2 of this war. Let's find out what's happening over there. Well, President Trump said, quote, Iran's new regime president had just asked the U.S. for a ceasefire. In a post on Truth Social, Iran has new supreme leader, but not a new president. Trump wrote, we will consider the Hormuz Strait. He's the only one who doesn't call it by the right name, is open, free, and clear. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, though, said the Strait of Hormuz remains firmly under its control and dismissed Trump's performative actions, while the foreign ministry said Trump's statements about Tehran's request for a ceasefire are false and baseless. Shocking.
But by the way, he also calls it the Gulf of America. It's the Gulf of Mexico. But again,
I forgot about that. Oh.
There's so many things to forget about, Parker.
There's so many things to forget. Other headlines.
Don't worry, it's going to go back to. You won't have to remember that one down the road.
No, it's fine. No. In his address last night, U.S. President Donald Trump said U.S. forces will keep hitting Iran very hard in the next 2 or 3 weeks and bring the country, quote, back to the Stone Ages, even as he touted the successes of U.S. operations and argued that all of Washington's objectives have so far been met or exceeded.
All right, so what, now we're just doing it for fun? Just, hey, we met and exceeded our expectations, but we're just going to keep bombing them just so they know we have bombs. Big, beautiful bombs. Spokesman for Iran's president on Thursday dismissed Trump's speech as insane, insisting the remarks boosted our nation's integrity.
And finally, the death toll from the war has risen to more than 1,900 people in Iran and over 1,200 people in Lebanon. 13 U.S. military members and 10 Israeli soldiers have been killed. 19 civilians have been killed in Israel, as well as a number of civilians and soldiers on land and sea in the Gulf region. Millions of people in Iran and Lebanon have also been displaced.
Please tell me there is news from somewhere else, preferably here in Wisconsin, and that we don't have to hear the word Trump in a couple stories. Parker, is there any other stuff we need to know?
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
Oh, all right, there is then. This is a Wisconsin story, and once again, it involves our Attorney General, Josh Kaul. He loves to get in lawsuits against the administration at different agencies, and he has joined another one. Josh Kaul is suing the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency over its weakening of a rule that sets limits on toxic air pollutants released by power plants. That sounds good. Wisconsin joined 16 other states, as well as Washington, D.C., and cities like Chicago and New York, and Harris County, Texas. Ooh, when Texas is suing the government, you know there's trouble afoot. It's challenging the rollback of these standards. The mercury and air toxics standards were created in 2012 to restrict pollution from coal and oil-fired power plants, namely mercury, which is, as you know, a neurotoxin. Maybe you didn't know that. I just said we all should know that, but I didn't know it either. That can cause brain and nervous system damage. Ugh. In the U.S., coal-burning power plants are the biggest man-made contributors to mercury emissions, according to the EPA. Now, say what you want about Joe Biden, but he did strengthen those standards in 2024. However, in February, when a new president came in, who shall remain nameless at least for one story, EPA officials announced during a visit to a Kentucky coal plant that the agency would return to looser standards. The administrator of the EPA is Lee Zeldin. He said at the time that the Biden administration's, quote, anti-coal regulations sought to regulate out of existence this vital sector of our energy economy, end quote. Clean Wisconsin has also joined a coalition of public health and environmental advocacy groups in a similar lawsuit. The organization pointed to mercury contamination from fish as a particular concern here in Wisconsin. Clean air, clean water, who needs it?
I'm going to ask it again. Do these people not breathe the same air we do? Do they walk around in a bubble? Because they obviously don't care.
They have rarefied air.
Apparently so. But it always comes back to the same thing, right? Protect the corporations, protect the donors. The rest of us, we'll just deal with the consequences. But here's what I don't understand about this. There's this constant push by this president to save coal, going back to his first administration, first presidential run.
Oh, he loves the coal miners. I love them, Jamie. They're dirty. They work underground.
Coal plants have been shutting down, though, for years, not because of regulation, but because they're expensive and they're also outdated compared to cheaper energy sources. And in fact, the U.S. has lost a larger proportion of its remaining coal fleet for each year of Trump's presidencies than any of the other his recent predecessors.
I love coal,
not
Jamie.
Saving the coal.
It doesn't kill the birds. Wind kills the birds. Coal doesn't. Unless you pick up a piece of coal and whip it at a bird's head, you'd have to be a very good aim. Sandy Koufax had good aim. You know, he was Jewish. He played baseball. That was unheard of at the time. Took off some holidays. Didn't like it. I prefer a pitcher who always pitches.
Was that the weave happening this morning?
Of course.
Okay. All right. In other headlines this morning, turns out that we're getting closer to ending the DHS shutdown. Okay. House
It's
Speaker
supposed to end Friday.
Yeah, well, here we are. At least TSA agents got paid. That's the good news. But
That is
House
good news.
Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune announced a plan yesterday to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security, moving past a split between the two Republican leaders that resulted in Congress leaving Washington last week without a fix to a record-setting partial government shutdown. Now, they said in a joint statement that, quote, in the coming days, you're on recess, so I don't know what that means. But Republicans in Congress will return to a Senate plan to fund most of the department through an agreement with Democratic senators, with the exception of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and U.S. Border Patrol. Now, Republicans would then try later to fund those agencies through party line spending legislation. Neither of these outcomes is guaranteed. The strategy could actually face opposition from the GOP's own ranks, even though the president has given his support. The plan represents this do-over of what senators had in mind when they passed a bipartisan funding agreement through unanimous consent last Friday, so almost a week ago. The Senate could approve similar legislation as soon as this morning through unanimous consent. But even if that happens, it's really unclear at this point how quickly this bill would move through the House. It's not going to.
It's going to be another
Mike
week.
Johnson's going to stonewall it. And
Right.
they're on recess.
They're on recess. And they're all jetting off to different places. And, you know, I understand taking a break, getting a vacation sometime in your job. But then there's times where it's like, oh, I still have to answer my emails because there's something pressing. And I don't know how they could remote vote on this, the House, but it's not going to happen. It's always, and none of this would have happened had it not been for Mike Johnson.
Right.
Because say what you will about the Senate, they at least came up with some semblance of a plan to get people paid, and then they moved on. Now, this final story, I hoped we wouldn't have to say the name, but I say it only because the result of what is being said makes me a little happy. President Trump has raised potentially removing Pam Bondi, but the Dow is up from as Attorney General in recent discussions he's been having with senior administration officials. Now, those sources familiar with this told this to ABC News. This comes amid months of mounting frustration that the Justice Department isn't doing enough to target his political opponents for persecution or prosecution. I'd say both. Not immediately clear whether Trump will move forward with forcing Bondi out of her role, according to those sources, though the discussions have advanced as far as considering her replacements. Will it be EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who was mentioned before, who will cut back on regulations about law then, too?
Oh, is this a bet? Do we get to start placing bets?
Well, the other candidate is the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche. So I would like somebody to figure out the odds. Your sons are good at setting odds. We need odds on this.
All right.
A Zeldin or Blanche, and then we can make our votes. Bondi's removal would likely create alarm. Really? Among critics who have accused the Trump administration of weaponizing the Justice Department. Sure, because if he doesn't think Pam Bondi is doing enough to weaponize the Justice Department, oh my goodness, can you imagine who's going to come in next? So, according to reports that he was considering firing Bondi, Trump said in a statement yesterday, quote, Attorney General Pam Bondi, wonderful person, she's doing a good job. That means she's out. In recent months, Trump has repeatedly vented frustration. He's criticized Bondi's handling of the DOJ files from the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. He has been upset about the pace and the effectiveness of targeting his foes through the Justice Department, and her little performance in front of the House Judiciary Committee last month, or in February now, where she was screaming at everybody, remember?
Yeah.
And sidestepped questions, wouldn't answer anything. Remember that? Yeah, that concerned the White House, too.
Yeah, they shelved her after that. We haven't hardly seen her since that moment unless she's been called on for something specific, which has not been rare. There's been no press conferences. There's been absolutely nothing. This isn't actually surprising. What bothers me most about this is it's going to be another lackey that they bring in who is within the president's inner circle, and there's so much turnover in every single one of his administrations. First go around and this one too. It's whiplash. 7:19 right now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just responding to Tom. Yes, we've mentioned the ice storms. Be very careful. It's going to get up to the 60s today, so that ice will melt.
Yes. 7:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak on the Civic Media Network. And yes, Tom, we have mentioned the strong storms as well.
Brian, did you see the Sox postpone their home opener today?
Yeah, well, yeah, they'd be sucked away in a tornado. It's going to be scary, brutal here, and my mom is getting moved to a rehab center.
Oh no!
Oh shoot!
What a day!
My days are a shit show. So I moved one of the things that I bumped today to make room for Bondi and the press conference and the guest to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got tomorrow so I can start planning ahead? Do we have any guests tomorrow?
Not as of right now.
All right.
Do we want to try to do, because I know this falls on you, Frank, so you can be the yay or nay. Do we want to try to do a fact or fiction of Ron Johnson's
Yes, we do have that.
Town? Okay.
Yes.
Where do you want it? Just so I
think right now.
You can't do it right now. You don't have it prepared. It's Swiper State.
Not right now.
I see.
We usually do a B block, right?
Yeah. 2B?
2B.
Or not 2B.
This is 2B.
No. Yeah.
That is the question.
We could do 3B.
Oh, this is 2B.
I think 3B.
B or C, yeah. 3B.
I think 3B would be good because we're not really asking for a lot of, that's more of a game. That's not an engagement.
Yeah.
So
I think 3B.
Yeah.
You have an hour apart from Swiper Stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when people are awake.
Rojo. My boy.
Honestly, his telephone town halls are one of my favorite political things happening in the world right now.
Had a blast last time. And I know you said it, Jamie. I was listening to the Trump speech last night. I was like, "Damn, we could have done fact or fiction today."
Oh, it would have
been no fun.
Fiction.
Yeah.
All right. We got 10 seconds.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swiper Stay on Daybreak.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is 7:22 right now, and it is time for Swiper Stay. This is where we lose the politics for 7 whole minutes, and we talk about something that has nothing to do with the President of the United States. We are joined by our senior producer, Frank. Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
Well, let's get to it then. Let's go. Let's play.
It's hard to...
What are we doing?
As the former star of The Celebrity Apprentice, it's hard to keep him out of pop culture as well.
This is true. He was also a movie star, remember? He had that one line in Home Alone, too.
This is very
true.
Yes,
which they're asking to have taken out. Anyway, Frank, what do you got for us?
Here's what we got. We've got Swiper Stay. I'm going to read some pop culture headlines. Jamie and Brian are going to have to decide whether they want to stay and hear more or swipe on to the next story. So here we go. We're going to go with story number 1. Rock star assaulted by a stalker.
I only saw the headline. I want to hear more details. I'm staying.
Stay, yeah.
And I think we just talked about this band too. So former Fleetwood Mac guitarist Lindsey Buckingham was assaulted by a known stalker when showing up for an appointment in Santa Monica. According to authorities, the stalker threw an unknown substance at Buckingham. There is no more information at this time outside the fact that Buckingham is safe and the whole thing is under investigation. Now, my first thought...
It was Stevie Nicks. Was that your first thought? Because that's the first thing that went through my head.
Could you imagine? No, if it was Stevie
that's
Nicks,
sound
everybody
thinking.
would have applauded.
Well, they would have seen her twirling down the street. It would have
This
been a
is
dead
true.
giveaway.
That's so
Who's
true.
the witch that just came up and threw something on Lindsey Buckingham?
But we just went through like a week or two of chastising Chapel Roan and her awful behavior towards people, even a little girl just walking past. And then here's the other side of that argument is you never know what crazy person you're going to run into.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now with Chapel's thing, yeah, it was a little girl. She probably, whatever. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But as a celebrity, who knows who's tracking you right now, and who knows what they're going to throw on you. And now I really want to see a picture of something, because what the hell could you have thrown on? Why Lindsey Buckingham?
Right.
Who knows why people stalk anybody?
Yeah,
they're lunatics.
It's a weird phenomenon.
No rhyme or reason. Yeah, it could be anything. I don't want to speculate on what was thrown on him. All right.
He's okay.
He's okay. That's the
good.
bottom line. Number 2.
NFL star checks into rehab.
I only want to hear it because you guys used his name about 7,000 times yesterday. I can't remember if it was on air or off the air.
I think it was
I'm going to
between
stay.
breaks.
I'm going to stay.
Parker?
I don't think that we've talked about him on the show previously, so I'm going to swipe.
Okay. Wow, Parker swiped. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I am
Popular
too.
voice actor involved in a fiery car accident.
Ooh.
It was not me.
I'll stay.
Voice actor.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, why not? I'll stay.
Bob's Burgers star Eugene Merman is facing serious injuries after being involved in a fiery car crash in New Hampshire. So
he plays the son.
Yeah, he plays Gene on Bob's Burgers. If you haven't watched the show,
hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's
So
really
funny.
good.
Yeah.
A rep for Merman said Eugene was in a very scary car accident. He wants to thank the bystanders, state police, first responders, and hospital staff who saved him. He is grateful to be on the mend. At this time, we kindly ask for privacy for Eugene and his family as he focuses on recovering from his injuries. This was a one-car crash, so nobody else was involved in it, but very
scary.
Very scary situation.
Huh.
Not a name you think to pop up.
No, because
Now Tiger Woods, yeah.
Tiger Woods, yeah. That guy loves to flip a car.
Speaking of Tiger Woods, this is a bonus. Tiger Woods apparently left the country to go to a treatment facility.
Turned down the Ryder Cup captainship.
Yes.
Wow.
Probably privacy would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah.
Next story.
Academy Award-winning role sparks a prequel movie.
What?
I'll stay.
Yeah, I'll stay.
That was a hard one.
Did anybody see the movie Weapons?
Yes.
No.
Weapons is getting a prequel. So
About Amy Madigan's character?
Yes. So after Amy Madigan took home an Oscar for her role as Aunt Gladys in the horror movie Weapons, it looks like it'll be full steam ahead for a prequel movie. Gladys is the working title for the prequel, and just added Godzilla writer Zach Shields to the project.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they just added Godzilla.
versus Aunt Gladys.
Wow.
It's going to be wild. It's just going to be a bunch of children running at a giant dinosaur monster.
This sounds great.
How many kids would it take to
How many
defeat
kids?
Godzilla?
Parker, how many kids?
That's a good. I like that. How many kids to defeat Godzilla?
That's a lot of kids.
It would take
It's gonna be
millions.
a lot of kids.
I mean, I think billions. For
Not
the
those
record.
weaponized kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any They've got no weapons. They have nothing.
They
They're
are the
kids.
weapon, Frank.
I was gonna say they could pull your hair, kick your shins. It's fine. They've got this.
Is there any chance Godzilla has a soft spot for kids though, and would just give up?
No, I think their only shot is they do the 6'7" thing enough to annoy Godzilla to where he runs away.
Well, plus they're low. They get in under Godzilla's line
Right,
of
low
vision.
center of gravity wins,
they're,
right?
And they're
It's
just
like
jumping
football.
up. A lot of groin
Pad level.
shots. Pop,
They're
pop, pop,
stealthy.
pop, pop.
They're stealthy too, and you never know where they're gonna be.
Yeah,
so there's that.
You really got to watch out for those kids.
Got to watch out for kids all the time, Frank. That's what
As
I
of
say.
right now, one last thing. As of right now, Amy Madigan is not 100% confirmed to return, but more likely than not, I'd put it at like a 90% she will be back.
Well, if it's a prequel, Amy Madigan's,
We just can't confirm that she's doing it yet, or if they're going to have somebody younger.
Younger,
we don't know.
Okay,
Gotta have
all
somebody
right, that
younger.
makes sense.
But that's
Thank you,
Swiper's
Frank.
Day.
I liked it.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Do you have student debt? Were you using the
Yes.
SAVE plan? Guess what?
Yes.
You're screwed. We'll talk to the executive director of the Wisconsin Coalition of Student Debt after this. It's Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. You are listening to the Civic Media Network.
Guess what? You're screwed.
Guess
Well
what?
put.
Thank you.
Well put, Brian.
Why, it's a
Well,
no
you are.
placation zone. Parker, you're screwed. Yeah. Can't always. Why always try to be,
not gonna be-
everything's lovely.
Well, yeah, because sometimes it just sucks. And for student loan borrowers, this is one of those times.
Yep, we're screwed. Hi, Carol. Good morning.
Hi, Carol.
Good morning.
Oh, can't hear you, Carol.
Carol, you hearing us right now? We're not able to hear you right now. If you go down into your settings, there is a little settings gear right next to that red button at the bottom of your screen. If you go into there, there should
There
be
we go.
audio.
Wait,
There
I
we
just
go.
heard her.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
There
ma'am.
we go. We
Yay.
got
Okay, cool. All right, sorry, I switched into AirPods
no, you're
after
good.
I
No,
logged
you're
in.
good.
So, all right.
This site can do that sometimes.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
morning.
Thank
We're
you
so glad
for
you're
joining
here.
us.
Sure thing.
You're going to stay around for this one, Frank? If you have any student loan questions?
I've got a bunch.
I know.
And
Well,
I don't have
yeah.
a bunch, actually. I just have one.
okay.
How? I'm not going to ask her.
No, why don't we can start with your I'll
Okay.
ask I'll ask a
Here.
question
Yeah.
to start things off and then
Okay.
we'll
This
throw to you.
actually is somebody who's being impacted
Yes.
by this.
As someone who got the email 2 days ago?
Yeah. Again, I will say thank you, President Biden, for paying off my school loans. That was a joyous day in our
Yeah,
house.
thanks, Biden. What about the rest of us?
I know. And now I have a kid who's, we're going through the process of starting to pay his back. It's not a good time for a lot of people, money-wise. Trone is Trone how we pronounce your last name, Carol?
Correct. It's
Okay.
Carol Trone.
Okay.
Got it.
Just like to double check those things.
Sure. Thank you.
We have about 3 minutes, just a little under 3 minutes, and then we'll go live.
Yep. When we get down to our last couple of minutes, Carol, I'll give you hand signals. How many minutes we got left? And if you start to hear music towards the end, that means we just got up. Sorry, just have a couple of seconds left, so we need to wrap it up.
Okay. And you said it's about how long should I is the interview?
Up to 14.
About 14, yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to turn on one more light. I can do
Okay.
that.
I have a bunch of friends who got letters too this past week about their student loans, and they're like, "Oh,
I literally got it and was like, and then I said something I can't say on the air.
Doggone it.
Dog,
Dagnabbit.
dag nabbit.
Ah, shucks.
Wow.
oh gosh."
My
Wow.
next payment is not due until November of 2028.
Wow. That's because they can keep racking up interest.
It's a save plan pause forbearance.
Okay.
Do you want to know what that
Question
means?
Yes, I do. Trust me.
Yeah, we will
In
get
one
Carol,
minute.
I didn't think I'd be leading the charge on this interview, but
Hey,
here
you're
we go.
impacted.
Yeah, if you're I
am
would
the
rather
target demo.
then I
Yes.
would then
Yeah.
you I mean I have questions obviously,
I do
but
too, but you should
but
definitely
you're
ask yours.
because your questions are going to be what everybody in your situation is going to be asking.
Right.
Yes.
I'm just asking how come Molly's didn't get forgiven.
She went to one of them fancy schools, Brian.
Yeah, no doubt.
Those liberal
Tulane's
arts
private,
education.
right?
Oh, this was not a liberal arts education.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tulane is private.
Yeah, Ivy. Yeah. Those private universities, Ivy Leaguers.
Go small public school.
How about it?
15 seconds till we're back.
I look at what all 4 years at Southern cost me. Nothing. Couldn't even get a car for it nowadays.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it. You're listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. If you're leaving the house today, be wary of the weather. It's cold and rainy, and there's ice storms up north. So just take a quick look or listen to the radio. We just told you it's bad outside. There you go.
Yeah,
now
really raining
you
in Madison right now.
make your decisions appropriately. Well, in more very horrible news. More student loan borrowers are falling behind on payments than ever before. The Biden-era student loan program, the SAVE plan, was canceled by this administration, leaving borrowers in Wisconsin and across the country wondering how they should proceed. Carol Trone is the executive director of the Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt and president of College Goal Wisconsin. She joins us now to help clarify things. Carol, thanks for being here. I know a lot of people have questions, including our own senior producer, Frank, who is going to do this. But could you, before we get started, can you give us a quick history on the SAVE plan?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll make it quick. So the SAVE plan was introduced by regulation, and that's an important point. So it was introduced about 3 years ago, August 2023. So it was the most borrower-friendly repayment plan ever. And the reason why was because of the forgiveness provisions, and maybe more importantly for borrowers and their day-to-day lives, the calculation for what you owed was extremely generous. So it was basically a smaller percentage of discretionary income. The calculation for that meant that essentially borrowers were paying much less than they needed to. However, that was short-lived, and so a lot of borrowers got the word that this was a really great plan to be in. And even today, there's, I think, about 7.5 million borrowers nationwide who are in SAVE. In July of 2024, the Eighth Circuit Court, Missouri, and some other Republican-led states sued and said that this was an overstretch, and that litigation paused the plan. So anyone who was in that plan was put into what was called administrative forbearance. So basically it was, hey, we need to figure this out. Now remember, Biden was still president at that point. So there was an appeal. And so borrowers didn't have to pay anything. But basically they were in limbo. In August 2025, we've got a different administration. It's Trump now, and the courts are still battling it back and forth whether this plan is legal or not. But in August of last year, there's now interest accruing, and so up to that point, people were just status quo. August, your loan is growing. And so there continued to be some back and forth and appeals. And then in this month, or actually in December, there was a proposal to say we're ending the SAVE plan. Curveball earlier in March, where the final court ruling, they said we can't rule on this. And then 3 days later, there was a final court, basically courts battling each other. And there was a final court ruling Eighth Circuit Court, SAVE plan is illegal. So administration moved pretty quickly after that and made that announcement last Friday, said you're going to start to see letters, and now there's a timeline. So I can, let me know if you want me to go on that timeline.
No, that brings us to the letters, and that brings us to Frank. Frank, you have student loans, and you got one of these letters. So what?
Lucky me.
Yeah, it sounds great. So I know you have some questions for Carol. So
yeah, so
take over. I'm going to sip my coffee.
Yeah, go for it. So for the people that didn't get a letter, basically in bold it says the SAVE plan is ended, but you have options. This is from the U.S. Department of Education. So Carol, as somebody who has student loans and got this letter, I guess my big question, and I think everybody's question right now, is how screwed are we? What are our options moving forward?
Well, with that letter, you could say, and with the court decision, all of this is real. To be honest, as soon as there was that initial court challenge, things weren't looking great for SAVE borrowers or for the plan. And it goes back to, again, so it's a loan plan that came through an administrative initiative. It wasn't put into law. So, public service loan forgiveness, that was passed by Congress. And so that's on much more stable ground. This SAVE plan was an initiative, of the Biden administration. So basically, I would say, you got that letter, things are getting real now. But honestly, for those of us watching this closely, it looked like the SAVE plan was going to be gone for some time. And so what this means is, I guess, I would love to go into the options, for your listeners of what they should do at this point.
Yes, please.
But so any of your borrowers, and so if we're talking to listeners who are here in Wisconsin, there's an estimated 135,000 borrowers in Wisconsin who are still in the SAVE plan, like you, Frank. Mm-hmm. So you're getting this letter. Think about it as kind of a soft launch. And so you're getting the letter, and the reason for that is essentially the replacement plan is called the RAP plan, Repayment Assistance Plan. That isn't going to be available until July 1. So there's this window of time where you or anyone who's getting this letter, anyone who's SAVE, can just you can wait. But come July 1, you're going to get another notice, and they're sending them in waves, is what they've said. And from when you get that notice, around July, you've got 90 days. And if you don't do anything in that 90 days, they're going to automatically put you in the standard repayment plan. So here's what listeners need to think about is, the writing's on the wall. SAVE is gone. So if you are a public service worker, I would strongly encourage you to look at and there's a loan simulator tool on the Federal Student Aid website, which is really good. It's really detailed. You can play out different scenarios. But if you're a public service worker, if you're a teacher, you work for government, you work in a hospital, any of those kinds of eligible, employers, right now you are making zero progress if you're in SAVE towards your public service loan forgiveness. So you're going to want to see that. So there's some existing other income-driven repayment plans. You want to look at those, and because in some cases those are going to be better if you switch out of SAVE into those plans, because they're still available now. After July 1, they're not. Okay, so look at those other plans. Use that simulator tool and see where, if your goal is lowest payment, if your goal is paying it off in the quickest amount, it'll give you the scenarios. It'll tell you what your monthly payment is. It'll plug in, according to your family size, number of dependents, your income, so forth. So so act on that simulation now, because you may want to move before July when you have far fewer options for moving.
Carol Trone is our guest. She's executive director of the Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt and president of College Goal Wisconsin. DebtSmarts.org is the website where you can go and figure this out. Jamie, go ahead. I know you had a question.
No. I was just going to say, as we're listening to the process play out, obviously there's already backlogs, there's already delays. People have already been kind of through this system. So what happens, Carol, if someone applies for one of these new plans, but their application is still pending when this deadline hits? How are they going to be affected?
Yeah, that's a good question. So reports that I've heard from borrowers and others is that switching into one of the other IDR plans, income-driven repayment plans, hasn't been held up as long as those who are applying for forgiveness. So you can expect a couple weeks, maybe. And if you don't get that process by July 1, I think that the takeaway on this is don't wait till June 29th to do this. So play with that calculator now, make that move. Reports are that it's 2 to 3 weeks. But you're right. I mean, the Department of Education staff has been cut by over 40% in the past year. And it's definitely having an effect on how quickly things are getting processed. And so, if you're one of those who's applying for forgiveness, there has been a long wait for getting that processed.
How many people are we talking about in Wisconsin, and how much money is involved just in this state?
Well, so, I mean, big picture is Wisconsin has about 730,000 borrowers, in all kind of levels of repayment. And remember, that's both recent graduates and that's parents who have helped their kids get through this. And actually those parents are facing some of these challenges as well. Those people in SAVE, it's about 135,000 of that 735,000.
Wow.
So, in your opinion, being the expert here, what does a sudden change like this do to people's trust in the student loan system? Does this impact how people look at higher education going forward? If there's not a lot of help for these repayment plans since education is already so expensive?
I think there's been a growing awareness where, people, they're seeing the headlines, they're talking to friends, they're seeing their own situations, and they're seeing that, this student loan debt is catching up with people. I will say that if this sounds trite, but there are ways to make your education affordable. And what I'm hoping is that people use our organization, for instance. They plan out and don't just go for the dream school if it's going to have a big price tag, because that may not pay off for you. And, you want to keep your debt as low as possible. But, we are seeing people rethink things.
What's the biggest mistake that you at the College Goal Wisconsin, what's the biggest mistake you see applicants making or young people and families making? We only got about a minute left.
Yeah, so just a quick, so College Goal Wisconsin, our sole goal is to help people file the FAFSA. So best thing there is, fill, again, minimize your debt, fill that FAFSA out. It keeps your options. I'll just put a big plug here. The biggest mistake, Brian, is that not enough people do it. So in Wisconsin, we've got most high school graduates haven't even filled it out. And that's the case every year. Fill it out. It's much easier this year. It is not the painful thing it used to be.
Well, that's good. Anything would have been an improvement over the old system. Carol Trone is the executive director of the Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt and president of College Goal Wisconsin. DebtSmarts.org is the website. Carol, thanks for your time this morning. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, we got to wrap things up here, but we'll be back. Civic Media Network.
All right, we're
clear. All right, Carol, before you go, my forbearance till 2028, what does that mean? Can they revoke that at some point and be like, just kidding, That was just
No.
a placeholder. Okay.
Yeah, so no, what's happening is again all that court action back and forth, and then with the OB3 bill, they said, all right, if you're in save, we're gonna give you an off ramp till 2028.
Got it.
But if you go into your balance, you're accruing interest, so that balance is
fun.
growing. Yeah, so that's where you might want to be like, not worth it. I mean, there are going to be some save borrowers who are like, I am holding on till 2028 because this is not the time in my life to be paying this stuff. But your balance is going to be bigger. So that's why you've got that. So it's true. Like no new person is going into save. Since you were already in save, you have this longer window. But when you get that letter. So right now it says 2028. When you get that notice, it's going to say save plan is dead. Now you have 90 days.
Okay. And your advice to me, just so I'm crystal clear, is do not procrastinate and sign up for a different IDR. ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. I know it's painful, and people have built their budgets around not having to make that payment. And now, now we got to do something different. So, if you go to studentaid.gov, it's a tab that's right in the middle, and it says Loan Simulator.
Yeah.
And it's pretty helpful. So remember, if you make a smaller payment, it means it's going to drag out over more years, and so you're going to pay more over the lifetime of the loan. But that's if you wait. So Frank, odds are you're not going to have till 2028. You're gonna get that letter, right? And it's going to go boom. And I think they said 2028 because a year ago, OB3 slammed so many things into what had to happen. They're like, okay, let's just give a little bit more of a window. But now that the plan's been declared dead, basically illegal, once you do get that notice, you'll have 90 days.
Thanks, Carol. I really appreciate you. I'm just going to be sending you weird emails asking questions now. Now that I have it.
Honestly, the thing I didn't plug is the helpline, and it's staffed 40 hours a day, and I tell you, not enough people are using it. So
what is that? What's that number?
Yeah, give it to us and I'll put it in the show notes.
It is. So helpline is 833-589-0750. And it's not your loan servicer. And the good news about that is you're not going to be on hold for 5 hours.
Nice.
So
Carol's sorry to cut you off. We've got 15 seconds until we're back from our break.
Thanks, Carol.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Thank you, Carol.
Frank doing his own show.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Carol. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Frank commandeering the guest to have his own show.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully you're having a great start to your Thursday. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And thanks to Carol. That is vital information. Now, I know you guys wrote it down. My pen, I didn't get the whole. She said she forgot to give a helpline. This helpline is manned 40 hours a week, so you can call. It's not your lender. They will help you with questions. And Jamie, I know you wrote it down.
Yes.
833 something.
589-0757, 833-589-0757. That is the number that you should call for debtsmart.org if you want more information on how to navigate your student loans since, well, the SAVE Act has officially been disappeared.
Killed.
We'll
It's
call
dead.
it. Killed.
It's dead.
Disappeared. Dead.
If you're thinking, oh man, I could have used that information, have no fear. Go to civicmedia.us, click on the show tab, and later today, or at least by tomorrow at least, that interview will be up there with Carol, and you can go check that out. Check out all our pods and all the things there at civicmedia.us. Because if you are like our own Frank and got this letter, and there's words in there that you don't understand because you're not an accountant or you're not some sort of financial guru. You're
or
just
it just makes you nervous.
Or you see,
you don't want to
you are
screw
in
it up.
forbearance.
It's
What?
It's the federal government. government. You don't want to screw things up, right?
No, they're doing a fine enough job on their own.
They
We don't
are.
need to help them with screwing things up. But the state government is not above reproach, Jamie.
No.
There's always infighting. There's always things going on. We do always like to talk about Josh Kaul joining lawsuits against the administration. Well, this time the Republicans were looking into him. That's
Yeah.
right. A Republican-led committee report suggests that Wisconsin's DOJ overstepped its authority by using fellows funded by an outside environmental group. Now, this is a little bit confusing, but the Attorney General defends the practice, stating it did not violate state law and was necessary for environmental enforcement. So, a little background: the committee was looking into the fact that the DOJ, and this is coming from reporting in the Journal Sentinel, the DOJ had hired Karen Heineman as a special assistant attorney general on environmental litigation. That came with $90,000 a year. Man, I picked the wrong field to go into. It was funded by New York University's State Energy and Environmental Impact Center. Now, there were other fellows just like Karen, who were appointed in a dozen other states. Now, conservatives, of course, pushed back on those, and they said, well, the fellowship has ended. One of the people who came to the DOJ through the program is now employed by the agency as an assistant attorney general, according to Josh Kaul. And the report says that because the fellows were brought on board from an outside organization and not interviewed and hired as employees of the state, they may have brought external influences into the agency. They also cite issues with how the oath of office was not administered immediately, and that a Wisconsin Ethics Commission has not responded to a complaint after 412 days. Jamie, it seems like much ado about nothing, but why not? This is Wisconsin politics at its best.
It's good that they have something to focus on because it's not like property taxes are an issue, or we have elections coming up, or the governor wants special
And they're on
sessions on
vacation.
gerrymandering.
What are they doing?
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you're going to actually do something, let's focus on real issues that are going to actually help Wisconsin. Because let's be realistic, this GOP has brought these sorts of lawsuits before, and usually they're thrown out with some sort of meritless base. And I mean, Josh Kaul is doing his job. He's trying to protect the state from several federal policies. Notice that earlier in this morning, we talked about Josh Kaul entering Wisconsin into another federal lawsuit on environmental protection. And this just happens to be an attorney who specializes in environmental protection. I don't know. Coincidence. Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
This is what your attorney generals do. They find specialists to make sure that the best interests of the state are being handled properly, to make sure that there is some merit to what he wants to do as attorney general. This is not nefarious. This is not weird. The Ethics Commission has told you after 420 days that there might not be a violation there.
Well, and Kaul said, I'm proud to be on the side of the best interests of our natural resources and the people of the state, and that the fellows involved in this that was all aimed at the safety of the residents and the environment. So it doesn't seem like there's anything here. Again, it's just another way of by the Republicans in the assembly to just try to shame a Democratic official.
Of course.
And
they
make
do
it look like they're
constantly.
being sneaky and covering things up and circumventing the proper channels.
They've done this time and time again to this attorney general since he's been appointed to office with Tony Evers. I mean, and let's be realistic. This goes back to something we talked about earlier this morning when we were talking about that lawsuit with several states, Wisconsin included, against the EPA, Lee Zeldin. What do the GOP have against the environment? I'm trying to figure this out because, again, I get that this is about one attorney, but I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that Josh Kaul has brought in other attorneys in the same vein as he's pursued some of these lawsuits. So what is it that that the GOP has against
I think they would tell you we're not against the environment. We love the environment. What we're against is over regulations that hamper business practices, because businesses make money. Money goes to fund campaigns. Lobbyists sweeten the deal for legislators.
So
it all
big
goes
corporation.
back. We love clean air and clean water, Jimmy. You know what we love more? Money. Power.
Money.
We love a lot of things. I can't make money by going out and breathing. I have to make money the old-fashioned way, by grifting.
Well, it turns out that there are several businesses in this state, little ones too, that happen to make their money because of the environment. So I guess, I don't know, I care about them too. It's 7:59 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. More headlines from Iran and stuff you need to know coming up after this. This is the Civic Media Network.
All right. Okay, I'm going to step away for just a second. Oh. I almost fell. I don't know if anybody saw that.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
The chair almost went through the TV. Told you it's a big jump down. It's a really large jump.
God. All right, folks, time for our top of the hour street cam view.
Ooh,
yes, it is
still raining.
Still raining.
Yeah, it's miserable.
Gross. Not a fan.
Just miserable.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't say goodbye to our WDMX friends. Oh, well.
Oh, shoot. We should start putting that in the rundown.
Yeah. We should.
Because that's...
But I'm busy putting everything else in the rundown. I don't...
Well, so...
I'll leave that to producer. I'll leave that to producers to put those little notes in.
I think that regular things like that we can put in the left-hand column with the times.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because they're always going to be there. So
Right. Right. Or we
do.
you know, like in the there's been a couple things that I put in, like the what do you call it? I don't know, the blank rundown that I copy off every week. Yeah, the template. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah, maybe add that to there.
I will.
Yeah, you could do that.
I put swiper stay is in there.
Yep. Stuff you need to know, but that's already being built in.
Yeah.
Similarly to the other.
Where are we at? What do we got? Hour 3.
Maybe we could do a similar thing with audience questions as well. Not so much to make them stand out more, but to kind of have a pertinent reminder.
Just a headline that we that we have to put a question in there.
Yeah.
I'm encouraged, but I still, like, the last couple of days, it's still been all right. We got to politics.
Mm-hmm.
So now I also have to go back to my old way of looking at prep to say, okay, we need some broader topics.
Yeah.
Just so people want to get involved more. That's right. We're talking to you people on the stream and outside the stream and everywhere else.
Yes, people. Hello,
we do want to hear from you. We do want you engaged in the program. We're not just here to preach at you or to entertain. Well, hopefully we are entertaining, even if we're on a soapbox for a minute.
It's usually the goal.
It's always the goal. It's usually the result, hopefully. But
fair point.
I didn't say always. I said usually. I have an ego, but it's not that big to think it's always everybody's cup of tea. Do you have Easter plans? Oh, I got to ask Frank what we're doing about that stuff I sent him. I wonder if he's doing anything with it.
Our Easter plans are celebrating birthdays, because we have like 5 birthdays.
Oh man,
in
okay.
April and March. So
holy smokes.
Yeah, I think
that'll be fun though.
Maybe 4. Yeah, it'll be good to see folks.
You don't seem so sure.
Well, and no, this is nothing against my family. This is against my dog. My dog is not good at the whole people thing.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he's just very.
Well, he doesn't want to share his space. I get it.
Yeah, it's very loud.
People are obnoxious.
He's a small thing, but he's a loud little guy.
What kind of dog?
Bichon.
Oh, I love Bichons. My mom raised Bichons.
They're cute. Yeah.
I showed them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Those were the dogs that I showed.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, how about it?
4-H.
That list is longer than your list, Parker. Your
4-H.
movie list and your TV list, and
It was just 4-H, but we did show the Bichons. I didn't live on a farm, so you got to do something with animals, and we had cute little fuzzy Bichons.
There you go. They all look the same.
They're so adorable, though. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
Ours were.
Mine is to us.
Yeah.
is that the dog on the Caesar box?
No, that's a Scotty or a Westie.
Oh, all right.
Bichons are the ones that when they're groomed, they have the big heads. Like they're full. They almost look like a poodle.
Almost.
But they're all
they get
white.
Real poofy.
Yeah, but they're real poofy, and then they have a long tail that comes up and curls over their back. And then if they're groomed just right, their legs should look like a little triangle puff.
He ain't getting groomed that good.
Ours were. Because my mom.
Ours is a pain in the ass. So.
Oh, they're because they're hair, they're not fur. They are a lot of work.
They are hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to to have them in a full Bichon cut. They require a ton of brushing.
We got him. We have 10 seconds. We got him from PetSmart, and we found him sitting in his food dish.
That checks.
Yeah.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It's 8:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Boy, oh boy, hopefully you paid attention to the forecast. You grabbed the umbrella. Your windshield wipers are working today if you're in the car.
Yeah.
Because large chunks of the state are going to see a whole lot of rain. And then, of course, as you go north into the state, into the Wausau and beyond area, then you're just talking a whole lot of ice as this system moves through. In your area, Brian, you're going to see some potential
severe storms.
Severe weather. Yeah.
Yep, some tornadic activity is what they said. But in Madison, they're saying it between 9 and 11, it could snow again. So that's going to be Parker. Like, I have to go back out. Yes. It's supposed to. So it's raining now in Madison. It's going to
really
snow,
raining.
according to the National Weather Service, from 9 to 11. There's a chance of snow, and that's a 75% chance of snow. So that's pretty good. And then it's going to start raining again, and then you'll finally get a break at 8 p.m. So buckle up, friends.
Weather
it's going to be a
whiplash.
horrible day.
I love
Just
it.
a horrible day. High of in the 60s today, and then Friday and Saturday in the 50s.
Weird.
Hey, guess what? It's going to rain Friday and Saturday too. And then when you
Can't
put on
wait.
your little Easter bonnets and go out on Sunday,
Rocks.
it'll be 48 and partly sunny. So
All right.
not a good
it's
not a good day.
It's going to be a little chilly for the summer-like frock, so make sure you have a sweater
Yes.
that goes over the top of them.
Wow, now you're going to tell people how to dress.
I
And you are in full mom mode, full
I'm
advice
worried about
mode.
people's safety this morning.
Wow, I am a let's thin the herd. I'm a survival of the fittest kind of guy this morning. It's like I want everybody to be okay, but if you're not, that's on you. Personal
that's true.
responsibility. All right, let's look to the Middle East because it's time for some war headlines, which are basically becoming all the same. But let's start with this one because last night, if you listened to the president or listened to our breakdown of what the president had to say, he used familiar talking points in his first address to the nation on the Iran war, telling Americans the conflict is, quote, nearing completion and projecting another 2 to 3 weeks of involvement. He signaled the U.S. prepared to intensify its military response and threatened to take Iran back to the Stone Ages. There was only one Stone Age, but he said ages. That's okay.
In other in other headlines, Iran's military dismissed the president's claims that 4 weeks of attacks have left it weakened. Following the powerful and unimaginable blows you have already received, expect even more crushing, more extensive, and destructive action from us, Iran's military said in a statement. This doesn't seem like a country who's giving up and is depleted like the president continues to tell me that they are.
No, and they're also buoyed by the fact that nobody else, except for Israel, nobody else bought into this. It's like, all right, you want to come after, and listen, I'm no fan of Iran, but this was a major miscalculation on the part of this administration to think they would just roll over and acquiesce to his demands. They're not. They won't do it. They never have done it. And there's no indication that they're going to do it now. And he could keep saying till the cows come home that we're winning and that he's going to make the decision when it ends. That's not going to happen.
It's not how war works.
No. And sometimes you do have an enemy that is going to at some point capitulate. I don't see that happening with Iran. Their bench is deep. Their roots are deep.
They've never capitulated. That's why they've been such a problem for so many years, because they've never capitulated, and they've never been a country who has been like, let's sit down and negotiate and talk this out, which is why you have to be more strategic in your military endeavors with this country.
Well, that's why you don't send your son-in-law to negotiate. You actually have professionals. Israeli defenses intercepted Iranian missiles on the first night of Passover, and in Lebanon, Israeli attacks killed at least 50 people within 24 hours, according to health officials there. So no end in sight for this. If you think it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks, good. I'm glad you can comfort yourself with that thought. I'd be happy to throw some money down that it's not going to be in 3 weeks. We're going to be into month 3. And it'll keep going, because no matter how much you bomb them, they're going to keep coming back.
Did you think it was interesting? And we've talked about this before, because Pete Hegseth has also insinuated some of the same things the president did, especially about the regime and the new Ayatollah, that they are depleted, that they are on basically their very last leg as far as a regime goes. My feeling is that's not true. Obviously, I don't have the intelligence, but my feeling is that's not true. This is a regime that isn't super public most of the time.
No.
And so I think it's dangerous to make that sort of speculation when I'm not sure that this administration knows either for sure.
This administration doesn't care if they have facts or not, or we wouldn't have been in this war. But the former Ayatollah, the one that is confirmed dead, he didn't make public appearances either. That's what they do. Their leadership stays hidden because they know they're wanted. They're people are looking to kill them, so they stay hidden. And Whiskey Pete just wants to cosplay. He loves to stand up there and talk tough and throw around all these things and make it seem like I really believe he is aroused when he's talking about that. He gives off that energy of somebody who's describing their latest conquest or their trip to Vegas or whatever. He's not a serious man. This administration is not serious, and they have made a major miscalculation, as I said, on this enemy, and it's going to be long and drawn out, which is why longtime advocates and longtime supporters of this president and the MAGA policy are like, this is finally what they're like, hold on, you promised this was not the thing. You promised, and they don't care. They can be fooled about the economy. They can be fooled about the Epstein files, all of that they're willing to swallow. But the America First, no long-term wars thing is, for whatever reason, sticking in their craw, and this is going to be his downfall.
Well, and I think that's what I continue to go back to during the presidential campaign. And Trump did it against Hillary, and he also did it against Kamala Harris, where he called them the warmongers. If you vote for them, you're going to end up in some sort of long-term war.
Your sons and daughters will be sent off to kill or to die in foreign soil.
And here we are. I mean, here we are after weeks of this, and there's still no end sight. And it turns out that a lot of the time, what this administration says about other people turns out to be what they're actually projecting about themselves, and we're living through that right this very moment.
Well, as you know, Jamie, we are on across the state of Wisconsin on the Civic Media Network. A lot of things to talk about in Wisconsin and a lot of stuff you need to know, Parker.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
All right. Well, this is an all Wisconsin-based blank you need to know. I almost said it. It almost came out of my mouth. That would not have been good. So U.S. immigration changes mean less money for Green Bay schools a year and a half into Trump's term. A longer-term change may be hitting Wisconsin school districts, one with direct financial consequences. The Green Bay School District is facing a budget deficit of $8 million for next year, 2026-27, and $24 million to $32 million for the following year, 2027-28. Part of the reason for that deficit is because schools are funded on a per-pupil basis, and enrollment has been declining for years. Now, there's a lot of reasons for declining enrollment, not as many kids, none of this, but one of the big reasons is the immigrant community in Green Bay and the surrounding areas is shrinking. District Superintendent Vicki Bayer said Green Bay welcomes a lot of new immigrants, and we're just not seeing those numbers right now. Gee, I wonder why. So, pardon me, if you don't have kids coming with their immigrant families and they're not going to school, suddenly when your enrollment is checked and funding is up, you're going, well, you guys don't need as much money because you don't have as many kids. Now, there's no real data as to how many of the children that are missing came from immigrant families. We do know that there's been a decline in enrollment in the Green Bay School District, and they're looking for that. But that's one of the main reasons. And just a reminder that every child, regardless of citizenship status, is entitled to free public education under the 14th Amendment, and that was ruled by the Supreme Court in 1982. And I can hear some of you already, I don't want my tax dollars going to pay for some illegal going to school. Well, sorry, that's the way it is in this country for now, and you can fight it if you want.
So what you're saying is there's more to this birthright citizenship case in front of the Supreme Court than just birthright citizenship. I mean, we just named the 14th Amendment again, which is the heart of this argument in front of the Supreme Court.
Listen, why do you always want to put reason to the unreasonable? This is...
I know.
Now, in Green Bay is not tracking students' immigration status. They don't know. But the Census Bureau shows net international migration to both Wisconsin and Brown County dropped significantly between 24 and 25. And if you're somebody who's looking to move from your country, or whether if you legally just want to move, or if you're trying to get into this country, this is not the place to come anymore. And it's showing up, and it will have long-term effects on the school district. What else we got?
I was just going to say very quickly, if it's per pupil too, think about that. You're losing students. That's fewer resources, fewer programs, and tougher decisions about staffing and class sizes. So something else to consider. But yes, very quickly, Governor Evers is calling out President Donald Trump and using some harsh language. I like spicy Tony. This is fun. But obviously, the president signed that order to restrict absentee ballots from going to people not vetted by his administration. And Tony Evers calls it BS, using the actual words, which I cannot, and I wish I could because it's great.
Tony.
Right, and he looks forward to seeing the president in court, is what Governor Evers says. On Monday, Trump signed that executive order titled Ensuring Citizenship Verification and Integrity in Federal Elections, which instructs the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Social Security Administration to send election officials to states just like Wisconsin and list individuals confirmed to be United States citizens who will be old enough to vote before upcoming federal elections. Now, this order also requires U.S. Postal Service, out of money, by the way, to prevent mail-in ballots from being sent to anyone not on the list. Components of this order are similar to provisions in that SAVE Act, which the Republicans are trying to pass. The U.S. House passed that bill in February. It's currently stalled in the Senate. Now, soon after the president's order was signed, Evers called the order BS in a social media post, saying it's illegal and will see the president in court. Now, we've talked about him a lot this morning, but Josh Call, Wisconsin's attorney general, said the order transparently attacks our democracy, restricts voting, and tramples on the Constitution. Quote, I am confident that key parts of the executive order will be blocked, and that is accordingly, and that it accordingly won't prevent us from continuing to have free and fair elections in Wisconsin. Good for Tony for saying the words.
It's this proclamation, this list that he wants everybody on a list, and then the list has to be vetted by so many different agencies, and it's all a load of garbage because he votes by mail. Don't ever forget this. He votes by mail. His family votes by mail. Don't let him convince you that there is fraud in mail-in elections. There is not fraud in mail-in or in our elections in general.
No.
Minuscule.
No.
Minuscule. It's
Less than
8:20.
1%.
This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. I like Tony when he gets all fired up.
It's gonna be a blast.
I realized too late that I had that drop.
Oh, man.
That's okay. It's all right. I like Tony when he's all... When I saw that post come out yesterday, I was like, ooh!
Yeah.
You should get some tabs. So, like, if we're talking about Evers, go to the Evers tab and be ready.
Yeah.
If we're talking, go,
Not bad,
you know.
Yeah.
We got a long time, Parker. It doesn't have to be done tomorrow. I plan on being on for a while.
Well.
But I always have planned on being on for a while.
Yeah. Oh, evaluation time.
Who's getting evaluated?
Parker.
You're getting evaluated? During a show?
Yes. Yeah. Well, because that's when we can watch them do their real jobs.
Wow.
That's true.
Not distracting at all.
Oh, wait. Do you just want to plug in the headphones? No.
I have faith that it's Aaron Zommers who will be constructive.
I put my faith in Zommers.
Me too. Oh boy. On multiple occasions where I'm literally like, help.
I forget that plugging those in makes these ones quieter.
Why would that be?
Because dumb. That's why. Just dumb.
See, I can tell that Corey didn't wire that booth. He didn't have anything to do with it.
It's the board.
It's the board?
It's the board.
Oh, yeah, that's an SAS thing.
Yes.
It is. I have thoughts that I will
Yeah, that's an SAS thing. They've actually fixed that in their newer versions of that board.
Have they made the headphone amp less quiet or less loud too?
Or noisy?
Noisy. That's
probably not.
That I don't know.
Because there is a ambient hum.
Corey will be meeting with Al, the guy who actually owns that company and makes those boards at NAB in April. Al's a very good friend of ours. He's fantastic.
I have words for Al. 10 seconds to our back.
You'd love him, though. He's great.
Fairly solid and better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is the Civic Media Network, and my name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. This is, well, if you listened to the president last night, you know we have lots of oil. We have the most crude. People should just come to us to buy oil because we got oil everywhere. We got oil coming out of our pores, out of our back. We got oil everywhere.
Never mind those high gas prices. We are covered.
Yeah, see, that's the problem because the price of diesel fuel has been skyrocketing. And it didn't skyrocket before the war started. So correlation, causation, I don't know. you can draw your own conclusions. But because of that, a lot of businesses that use trucks are having to pay a lot more. And if you think that that's not going to get passed on to you, if it hasn't been passed on to you already, you don't know how this works. And that's okay, because we'll try to help you know how it works. Wisconsin is known as the dairy state, Jamie. Dairy consists of milk. Milk is transported in what?
Trucks.
Giant tanker trucks.
Yes.
That's right. Something I didn't know about Wisconsin, but I do now, is that there are some roads that they have weight limits on, especially in the rural part of this state, which makes sense. Okay, well, that just means trucks have to make more than one trip. So a fully loaded tanker of milk may be too heavy for some roads, so they have to go half a tank. Well, but they still need to deliver a full tank, so they got to go back and get another tank. So now you're using more diesel fuel, which, have I mentioned, prices skyrocketed. The average price, for example, in the Midwest of diesel is $5.10 a gallon. Now, that was that's $1.31 higher than before the Tangerine Tyrant decided he was going to start a war. So, again, we were told we have all this crude oil that makes diesel fuel, and, well, we don't. So there's a lot of concern, growing concern, as there should be, because we will start paying more for all of this, right?
Are you telling me that what he told me last night was not true? Is that what you're
I would
telling
not
me right
tell
now?
you that. It's not my job to tell you. My job is to give you the facts and trust in your own intelligence to come up with the reasonable conclusion.
That's fair.
If you conclude that he was full of gas and not the kind that he's saying we have, and just lying to you straight out, I might argue that that's a very apt conclusion.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Well, here's the
But
problem.
it's up to you.
Okay. That's fair. Here's the problem that we're going to see with these trucks having to make more trips. That's going to include higher costs for them.
Right.
And at some point, kind of like tariffs, that price has to get passed on somewhere. It turns out that we are going to have to pay higher prices because those companies, those milk farms, any truck really who has goods crossing through the state right now or in the country are probably going to end up charging more because at some point they have to offset their own costs. Doesn't matter where you're at in the state, you're going to end up paying more because of this. That's just how it goes up. Groceries get higher. Any goods that you're buying are going to get higher. Anything tied to transportation, turns out, is going to increase in price.
And
That's
once
how it
again,
works.
Jamie, not telling you that you were lied to last night, but according to Gas
I feel
Buddy,
lied to.
Well, you were lied to. According to Gas Buddy, while diesel is expensive here in the Midwest, it's even more expensive on the coastal states. And you may say, well, why would that be, Brian? Well, despite statements to the contrary, coastal states rely on overseas oil for their diesel fuel, which diesel is produced in a much lower quantity than gasoline, as is jet fuel, which is why you're seeing your airline tickets go up. But yes, contrary to popular belief, or one person's belief, connections to the global oil market are very, very essential to the United States.
I mean, I am very concerned about the farming industry right now, just for multiple reasons. But I don't know if you've noticed, but it's spring. This happens to be a really busy time for the farming community in Wisconsin.
Love the farmers.
And across the nation. What does this do to them with diesel prices going up when tractors, trucks, anything that they need to use on the farm mostly runs on diesel? How does this affect them, their bottom line? They're already usually on very thin margins as far as profit and loss. How does this affect them on a day-to-day basis? And this is a big concern for a state like Wisconsin that relies on their rural industry so much.
It's going to be rough, and not only Gas Buddy, but other economists have said that these fuel costs will be passed on, most likely. So will be passed on to consumers across all sorts of industries, which will then lead to a resurgence of inflation in the coming months. once again, going against we have the strongest economy. We're the hottest nation in the world. Da, 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 da. Yeah, we're going to be hot because nobody will be able to afford to run their air conditioners this summer. Yeah. That's one way we'll be hot. It all comes back, and it's so easy to disprove. All you have to do is look at the numbers and listen to people who aren't politically aligned. They're economists, they're fuel experts, they're this, they're that. Whatever they are, they're looking at the numbers. And they're laying it out for us.
Yeah.
And it's not good. And it's contrary to everything we're being told.
And it's not good. And even if you don't want to listen to them because you're busy and you don't have time to listen to the words they have to say, we said it earlier today, but we'll say it again. Check your own credit card receipts. Check your own bank account. Check the receipt that you get from your local grocery store and what is happening when you go to the grocery store just to buy your staples.
Yeah, I didn't. I went yesterday. I did not buy. I didn't splurge by any stretch. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I got some bread, some apples, a little bit of vegetables, some lunch meat, and I'm like, that much? And it's in a bag and a half? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh well. Hey, some opioid news in Wisconsin. Could be good. Could be bad. We'll tell you on the other side. It's Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. You are listening to the Civic Media Network.
Love it.
Alicia on YouTube saying, I can't afford to run my furnace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy costs aren't getting cheaper either.
All right. Looks like we've got Jason here, and Andy as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
All right.
Okay. We've got about 5 minutes here, and then we'll get started with the live portion of the interview. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thanks for having us. Is our sound, everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Excellent.
Okay.
Andy, pardon me. What is your title?
Researcher.
Researcher. Okay. Thank you.
Just making our proper notes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us on this very dreary, gross morning.
It's all right.
It's not exactly a nice day, is it?
No, it's an accurate description.
Well, at least we're not getting the ice that they're seeing in the northern part of the state.
Right.
I'm never a fan of the ice.
I hope my lighting is okay. This is all the lights in my living room.
Is it really?
It's dramatic, yes. Andy. You look like you're coming from, no. Let's keep it the way it was.
Oh, and guys, just so you know, we've got up to a 14-minute segment here. If we get down to those last couple of minutes, I'll give you hand signals how many minutes we got left. And if you start to hear music towards the end, that means we just got a couple of seconds left, so we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you much. And we got a little more than a minute still until we're back. All right, we got about 15 seconds till we're back here.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for having us on this morning. It is 8:35 right now. If you are listening in Richland Center on WRCE or in Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR or in Wausau on WXCO, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Alarming statistics from the Department of Health and Human Services. Between 2016 and 2023, over 9,000 people in Wisconsin died as a result of an opioid overdose. Good news is, though, in 2024, Wisconsin had one of the sharpest declines of any state in opioid deaths. That's from a new report by Vital Strategies, a nonprofit organization. The decrease came in part from the fact that Wisconsin prisons and county jails have expanded access to medications for opioid use disorder over the last 5 years. There are still gaps in the program, however, and we are joined by Jason Stein. He's the president of Wisconsin Policy Forum, and Andy Tisdale, a researcher at Wisconsin Policy Forum. They just put out a new piece, Treatment Behind Bars. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. This is the numbers were fascinating and a little astounding. But Jason, what's the evolution of, and what brought about the evolution of the Wisconsin Department of Corrections response to opioid use?
Well, sure. Thanks, Brian, for having us. And this study we did with support, the Wisconsin Policy Forum did with support from Vital Strategies, and we were trying to update a 2021 survey that looked at access to medication for people with opioids use disorder in jails or prisons around the state. And essentially, we did find, as you allude, that the access within Department of Corrections institutions increased sharply. So we went from about a third of DOC facilities, there's about 36 facilities in the state, providing some kind of access to certain individuals in the prison. And that increased to all prisons now provide at least some access to some individuals. And, whereas in 2021, there were only a few dozen individuals that received medications in prison. There was about 150 individuals who received buprenorphine, which is a medication that's associated with a decrease in overdose deaths among those who use it. And about the same number were given naltrexone, which was a big increase from what had happened just 3 years prior to that.
With opioid deaths finally declining in Wisconsin after decades of increases, does this feel like some sort of turning point that we're starting to see with the different access to medications? Is this differences in what facilities are doing? What do you think is driving this?
I think there certainly has been a big shift. Now, it's important to note that we still have roughly 5 to 600 opioid overdose deaths a year in Wisconsin, which is on the order of traffic fatalities. So it's still a very big public health crisis, but it has certainly improved a lot. And one reason we're looking at this specific population of people who are released from incarceration is that they are at an elevated risk of overdose if they go back to using at the same levels they did prior to going behind bars. And, I didn't really get to all of Brian's questions in the previous take there, but we know that the DOC, I think there are a lot of factors, but one is just the level of deaths and the sort of urgency that society and elected officials feel to address this issue. And then there has been funding through opioid settlements. So with manufacturers of opioids, funding for state and local governments to address the crisis. And then finally, the U.S. Department of Justice also issued guidance in recent years that the Americans for Disabilities Act requires access to these medications to be available. So I think it's no one factor that accounts for the difference, but a combination.
Andy, I wanted to follow up on something Jason just said, because I found this part fascinating. The opioid deaths of the people you studied weren't happening while they were in jail or prison. It was happening when they came out. Can you explain why that is in a little more detail, and what the program is doing to combat that?
Sure. So when someone is addicted to opioids and they're in prison, they don't have access to opioids, their tolerance will start to decline. So if they are then released from prison and start using opioids, as Jason said, at the same level that they did prior to incarceration, their body may not be able to handle that amount, and so they're at increased risk of overdose. Also, when someone is going through withdrawal from opioids, that is often a very painful and very protracted condition. They are in a lot of discomfort. So when they're using opioids in that state to try and make that stop happening, they may not be using at the same pace that they were before. So it's a very dangerous situation for someone to be in.
So the drugs then are to fight the withdrawal and to not build their tolerance back up before they're let out, correct? Is it kind of like the old methadone clinics that we used to hear about?
Yes, and methadone is one of the medications that are sometimes available in Department of Corrections facilities and in jails. So there's methadone and buprenorphine that Jason alluded to. Both of those are what's called agonist medications. They activate the same receptors in the brain that opioids activate, but in a safer and more controlled way. So they can be part of a treatment regimen for people who are gradually coming down from opioid addiction. Now, Trexone, the other medication, it's also considered a medication for opioid use disorder. It doesn't activate those same receptors. So where the first two medications address the symptoms of withdrawal and they make them a little bit softer and easier to deal with, now Trexone does not. It just stops people from being able to use opioids and get the effects of opioids.
Jason, you had mentioned that the state received settlement funds, about $200 million, about $780 million of that expected by 2038. And when you look at those numbers, a lot of that money hasn't been allocated yet. And so who is actually deciding how this money gets spent and used? Is it the legislature, the Department of Health, local governments? How is that being broken up right now?
It's all of the above. So, it would be, the state elected and appointed officials have a role to play, and then it's also happening at the level of county government and county supervisors, county administrators, or executives, depending on the structure of the county. So it's really leadership at the state and local level, because there are different funding streams of these opioid settlement dollars that are available. And I think in some ways, sometimes if you have a local county, a smaller county, they may not have a lot of, they haven't been planning for years in advance on how they're going to spend this money, put it that way, right? And this is one of many avenues that exist to, potentially expand what's happening at the local level and also, improve health and up to and including potentially save lives.
Our guests are Jason Stein. He's president of Wisconsin Policy Forum, and Andy Tisdale. He's a researcher at Wisconsin Policy Forum. Their latest study is Treatment Behind Bars. You can find that at wispolicyforum.org. I guess this question would be for either one of you. This program sounds great because it does cut down on fatalities, but we know once an addict, always an addict. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Are there any numbers on the rate of recidivism when the people who have been treated with these drugs to help with their symptoms while they're incarcerated, when they get out, how many go back to using full time, or does it work as also a quote unquote cure where people now are going to try to stay off the opioids?
Andy, you want to speak to that first?
Sure. Well, we don't have numbers in this study from Wisconsin. We got our data from a survey of all jails in Wisconsin as well as DOC facilities. Okay. And while they kept numbers on a great many things, they don't have numbers on the number of people with opioid use disorder who get these medications, they don't have numbers on the total number of people with opioid use disorder entering the facility or the number who get the medications and come back. However, we did do a literature review as part of this study, and we found that several studies indicating that when people receive these medications in jail, they not only have a lower risk of overdose afterwards, but they also have, some studies have found lower recidivism rates and also higher rates of intake into treatment in the community. Oh. So there is some evidence that people are getting these medications and then it is making a lasting change.
That's good news.
So obviously we're seeing this expanded access to treatment in jails and prisons, but there's obviously gaps. And so how do we reach the people in those settings where there are gaps right now, based on your research?
Well, so we could talk about counties. Our survey, we reached 65 out of the 71 counties with jails. So there's 72 counties in Wisconsin, 2 counties share a jail, so there's 71 county jails. Of the 65 counties we reached, 53 of them now offer at least some access to these medications compared to 25 3 years ago. So there's been a really big increase. There are still, roughly 8 counties that don't provide any access, and there's a half dozen counties that we didn't get a response from. So, I think one way that the access can be expanded is, we do have these settlement dollars that we alluded to, and as well, now every county in the state, if they don't offer this, they have at least one neighboring county that does. They have state facilities that do. So there are people with the expertise to do this in all parts of Wisconsin in a way that just wouldn't have been true just a few years ago. And so I think that the message would be that local officials who would like to do this, but who may find it intimidating because it is, it's a matter of getting individuals with the right certification and training and everything else, that there are both in the private and public sector providers who have done this that they can turn to for help.
Well, another one of the gaps that I found kind of surprising is that, as you mentioned, Jason, not only do some of the counties not have all the medications, but some counties are actually not starting opioid addicts on the programs quick enough, or if they're only going to be in jail for a short time, they're not even doing it then. Is this going to be a legislative question down the road?
Possibly. It's worth noting that there are a lot of pressures that jails have been under. For example, we've seen jails that have had to increase their pay to guards significantly in order to keep them, as we've sort of had turnover problems in the public and private workforce at large. And so that's been a hit to their budget and other things. And you, as you allude to, you have people who are coming in and out of jail on a very short period of time, and it may be difficult to start someone on a medication, get the right professional in to see them and so forth if they're in and out in a matter of days or hours. But yeah, I think it's worth, both at the local level as well as the state level, thinking about what additional tools might be made available to county officials to be able to, reach as many people as possible.
We have about a minute left, and I'll finish with this one. As we look at success over the next, say, 5 years, what does that look like for the state of Wisconsin? Is it even more, even less death, fewer people entering addiction, better recovery programs? What does it look like going forward for us?
I mean, I think there's probably likely to be more access to these medications just given how the last several years have gone. And we have been on a trend that if it continues, we'd see fewer deaths. And I think really the question is how low can we go, right? Because again, getting down to 100 or 200 further deaths would be great, but there'd still be 300 people a year dying in the state of this, this scourge. So it's really about how low can we make it go.
And if you want to get more information, go to wispolicyforum.com. Thanks again to Jason Stein and Andy Tisdale from Wisconsin Policy Forum. Gentlemen, very enlightening. Thanks very much. We'll be back with more. It's the Civic Media Network.
All right, and we are clear. Zomer says a note.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Appreciate
gentlemen.
the interest.
Take care.
All right. Enjoy.
Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your
guys.
day.
You too.
Pam on Facebook was asking, what about Suboxone for treatment? I worked as a pharmacy tech, and so some of the generic names that they used, Suboxone is buprenorphine and naltrexone. That is one that they talked about. So that is one of the ones that they use that is effective.
Very good.
Thank you, Zomers. You're a pharmacy tech, too?
Yeah, I did that for a few years. I've done a variety of jobs.
I was just going to say, none of these things surprise me. You think I have a flow chart. Somers needs a flow chart.
This is true.
We're already at the last segment, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
It went fast this morning. Tammy Baldwin's in the state today. Today she's up in Green Bay, going touring some homes with Neighbor Works.
We've talked to them before, right?
Yes. About that bill that they're trying to, that they
yeah, that's right.
helped with for
affordability for
yeah. So she's going to be with them today. Pam says, thank you for that information, Zomer. She's lost 10 family members to addiction. Pam, I'm sorry to hear that.
Wow. Brutal. And not uncommon.
All right, we got about 15 seconds till we're back here.
All right.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Have you ever had a chance encounter with a celebrity? We would love to hear it. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. This one, I saw this story. I immediately thought of Frank and how jealous he would be about this. A young man from De Pere is in the news because he had a run-in, not only a run-in, but he photobombed Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
I love
Frank,
it.
what would you do to be so close to Taylor Swift that you could photobomb her? He would plots. He would be
He's
sweating.
coming in.
He'd be,
I would not care.
stop it.
No, I'm kidding. I would
Not
I was
care.
gonna
Stop
say,
it.
really?
Would not care.
I've met celebrities before in a working
Well,
manner.
sure.
Yeah,
And I've
you
never
have.
been...
All ones
Never
I'm jealous of,
fanboyed?
by the way.
No, I think the only person I've really fanboyed over was Patrick Kane, the hockey player.
Okay.
Patrick
All
Kane
right.
and Jonathan Toews was like... That I couldn't believe. But like
Yeah.
celebrities, like musicians, they're usually pretty chill.
Yeah.
They're either really chill or they're a nightmare and you just stay away.
Yeah,
Have
don't
you ever
want
had an
anything to do with them.
embarrassing? Either any of you had an embarrassing encounter before we talk about this kid from De Pere?
with a
Like,
celebrity?
or done something stupid when you met a celebrity?
Trying to think.
Like, yes.
I'm
course.
sure. I'm sure there was. I probably didn't realize.
Hold
it at
on.
the time.
I have a story.
All right.
It wasn't with the celebrity, it was with the record rep or their management
Wow.
team.
Oh,
It
They didn't put
was-
enough
oh.
cocaine in the album before they gave it to you to play?
No, who was it? We had somebody come in that worked for was on a Disney Channel movie and then starred in a Netflix movie, and I can't remember. She was in Descendants, and I can't remember her name.
Ashley Tisdale?
No,
No, I'm just-
no.
We're just throwing out
But
Disney
like
stars.
her manager came up to me and was like, "Good to see you again," and like went to like dap me up, and I'm like, "What are we doing? You're like a 60-year-old white guy."
Right on, brother.
And he was like, "Frank, why are you being weird about this?" I was like, "One, I've never met you before. Two, what is this? What about me gives off that vibe?" It was such a weird interaction.
Had you met him? Did it? I'm waiting for
Never.
and it turned out it was my uncle. What?
Never. It was like my first like media thing that I was coordinating in Chicago because I had worked in Ohio
Sure.
before that.
Yeah.
So we had never crossed paths
All right.
ever. It was weird.
Well, quickly before we share our other stories, let me just tell you this. Paul Janowitz, he's from De Pere. He was at the iHeart Music Awards the other day, March 26th. He was there. So he's there as a seat filler, which is a job that if you're in Los Angeles, they hire people just to come. Well, so like if I go to the bathroom or Diddy needs to go replenish the baby oil, somebody sits in his chair so it looks nice and full. So he's sitting 3 rows behind Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And they had just announced their engagement. Oh, it's a big deal. They stand up to get a picture, and he sees his moment, and he moves right into the middle of them. This picture then goes viral. It's everywhere. It's on all
love
the
it.
news stations. It's all the photo services. And his cousin's or his uncle's wife, his cousin's wife, somebody sees him on TV and sends it to him because it was on the Chiefs' Facebook page.
Love that.
And the comments were like, the guy photobombing them is the best. So now he's going to use it for Christmas cards and all kinds of things. But Frank,
he
I knew
should.
you would appreciate his reply to the comment. He said, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me."
Amazing.
That's
How much trouble did he get into?
Nothing, because
Nothing.
he moved over and there was a gap and he sat.
Yeah.
He moved over and sat in his seat, but he sat up tall and he just was smiling as big as could be.
Okay.
So he
love
wasn't
it.
doing anything obnoxious. It
Got
was
it.
just, if you looked past him, there he is, like gritted from ear to ear like the Cheshire Cat going, ha ha.
This was a big night for all eyes were on Taylor Swift and Travis
Yes.
Kelce because it was the first appearance they had made together at an awards event like this since basically becoming engaged. So
Right.
it was a really big event for them to
A
be
really
at.
big
And
shoe.
honestly, let's be realistic. If Paul hadn't responded with "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me," I would think twice about his Taylor Swift's fandom because that feels like the only appropriate response. in
Maybe
this
he
moment.
would. Maybe he's not even a fan. He just sees
He
Taylor
might
Swift,
not-
Travis
yeah.
Kelce, and like, I'm getting in this picture.
Yeah.
Real quick about Taylor
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Travis.
Oh, please.
'Cause I-
By
Do you
all
have a hot
means.
take
I don't-
for us?
How
You're not buying it?
lame
Oh boy.
that's your first award show that you're showing up to. If I'm Travis Kelce, I'm pissed off. I'd be like, dude,
Well,
can't we go to the Oscars or
The
something?
Grammys.
She didn't go to the Oscars.
That's what I mean. Why couldn't
Yeah.
we go to the Oscars?
Because she's
If
a
I- because-
recording artist. She doesn't have a song
You're-
nominated. Why the
look
hell
at
would she
me
be
and
at
tell
the
me,
Oscars?
Travis, or look at me and tell me Taylor Swift couldn't go to the Oscars.
Right,
I'm
but
sure
why
she
would
could.
she
Did
be
she
there? She
want
wouldn't have
to?
really good seats. She'd be
would.
be back.
She
No.
would. Yes,
she's
she
not.
would.
Even some of the people who are nominated for major awards are sitting farther back. Taylor
It's
Swift
Taylor
has
Swift.
no business. I know, but she doesn't fit with that.
not
Grammys
matter.
front row, 100% Taylor Swift. iHeartMedia, where I think this may be a little sour grapes on somebody's part. I don't.
It
wanna,
really isn't.
Okay.
I swear to God. But I'm putting myself. Look, Travis Kelce's a Midwestern guy, just like myself. All of us here.
right.
If I had a famous girl, the most famous pop star in the world, and we're like, we're gonna go out as a couple to an award show, and I go, where are we going? And she
loves
responds
music.
with a Radio Music Awards. I'm livid.
But
he
she's
also
going
loves
to that. Do you
music.
want her to go by herself? They've already announced
No,
that they're
I'll go
engaged. Then
with
the
her.
scuttlebutt is.
They didn't go to the
I-
Why couldn't we go to the Grammys? Why couldn't we go to the Emmys? Why couldn't we go to the Oscars?
Because they
I'm
weren't
pissed.
Facebook official. I know you're upset. Relax. Slow
I
your
am
roll.
getting riled up, Mr.
You
Plow
are.
King.
I didn't think our first official argument here on Daybreak would be over Taylor Swift.
I did.
It's more so
I
about
100%
what.
did. Frankly, I
Look,
did.
I'm just saying. Why
I knew it was going to be over something trivial and silly. Hey, but kudos to and he was also sitting next to gold medal figure skater Alyssa Liu. So kudos to our man from De Pere, Paul Janowitz. We got to get out of here. It's time. Tomorrow's Friday. Be careful. It's almost time. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. She's Jamie Martinson. This is the Civic Media Network.
All right. Live stream. Glad you got to see that.
Yeah, that was
I didn't know we were gonna
fireworks.
get this.
No, that's Katy
Yeah.
Perry. Never mind.
Dude, I'm not
What are you
even
gonna do?
invited, and I'm pissed.
What are you going to do? You're not going to. I mean, that's the award show.
Don't
that
you
was
look
up.
at
Should
your
they-
girlfriend and be like, "Can we go, dude?
Right,
couldn't
but
we
they
go to the
probably-
Oscars?"
Right, but they probably will go to all those things. It's the schedule. She shouldn't have gotten engaged then until right before the Grammys.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
What were they doing around the time of the Grammys?
I don't know. When was the
Travis
Grammys?
was sitting at home.
was he
I can
playing
tell you that
football?
because the Chiefs sucked this year. Heyo.
Oh, that's right. He didn't make the playoffs.
He was still trying to decide if he was going to play or not. He was feeling sorry for himself.
And
That's
what
was
happened? He
happening.
got signed to a 3-year deal.
He's never going to make it through the 3
You
years
got to keep
anyway.
that
He's not
money
gonna
coming
make it
in,
3
though.
years.
If you're
He
married
barely
to
made it
Taylor,
through
you
the
can't be
season.
a
No.
slug or a scrub.
Are you playing circus music for us?
This is
Curb
it's
Your
Frolic.
Enthusiasm.
It's the
Yes, frolic.
the soundtrack to my everyday life.
How about it?
All right, live stream. That is the show after the show.
Oh, they're
No,
they're
we're
still
gonna
here.
keep talking
We're
about
still
this.
here.
We're still going.
No, I know we're still here. I didn't know that the stream was still here.
No, they're still here. They're still
Oh
here.
boy,
They're hanging on.
See you tomorrow.
I know, but I'm glad I didn't drop.